Sharpening Report. Well, it is National Preparedness Month again. Our guest tonight, Ray Gano, joined us last year to talk about staying healthy and prepared through a biological outbreak event. Tonight, Ray is going to talk to us about financial preparedness. Ray is the author of a number of books, including Survive the Coming Storm, The Value of a Preparedness Lifestyle, and what will be the topic of tonight's show, Survive the Coming Storm, A Poor Man's Guide to Preserving Your Wealth in an Economic Collapse. So, with that, I would like to welcome back to the show Ray Gano. Ray, how are you doing?
Hey, Josh, doing pretty good, bud. Thank you for having me back on.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't, I was saying before the show, before we got started here, I can't believe it has already been a year. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. But here
No.
we are again at National Preparedness Month. So what better topic to talk about?
Oh, yeah, very much so. Totally. I'm always up for it.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you so much for sending your books. I read through the one that we're going to talk about today. It's fantastic. And then the other ones that you sent, I'm just seeing more and more episodes of The Sharpening. So, well, now The Sharpening Report. So that's exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, I think everyone listening to this will be able to benefit from it. We all go through financial troubles, and we could all use more preparedness. So let me ask though, what exactly does economic collapse look like, and how can it affect the average family household?
Well, right now, believe it or not, all you need to do is kind of look out your front room window, and you're beginning to see the foreshadows of an economic collapse. Have you noticed going to the grocery store, for example? You go to the grocery store and go down the cereal aisle. This is a really interesting. You'll notice boxes are wider and taller, yet thinner.
Right.
And there's actually less cereal in the boxes than, say, a couple years ago. Another thing is look at toilet paper rolls. It's interesting. I was reading an article about a month ago about a guy. He's a prepper, and he was digging into his toilet paper that he bought like 4 or 5 years ago, and he happened to have a roll of toilet paper he just bought like that week, and the roll, the paper tube was bigger versus the one that he bought 4 or 5 years ago. And then there was also less toilet paper, or it was more fluffy in a sense, instead of hard wrapped, where you maybe be able to have more.
Wow.
It was loosely wrapped, and there was actually less. And so look around at companies and products that you're buying right now. A lot of boxes have gone to this bigger and taller, yet there's not as much stuff in it. I mean, it was amazing to me the last time we bought cereal and everything. We opened up the box. You look inside there, and the box is only half full.
Oh, wow.
And but you look on the how many ounces, and this is another thing too. You'll notice that cereal boxes and a lot of food and everything that you're going to is now being measured in grams versus ounces, because an average box of cereal was something like 16 ounces. Today, it's somewhere around 10 to 12 ounces. But they first start, look at the bottom. It doesn't say ounces anymore. It says 350 grams and then slash 10.45 ounces. And the reason they do that is again, it makes the stores are starting, or the corporations or the businesses are not having as much food, or their profit margin is not as good anymore, and so they're wanting to be able to kind of charge the same price, but kind of fool you out about how much you're getting, and so you're seeing a lot of this in a lot of the stores. Oscar Mayer wieners, I remember when there used to be 8, now there's 6.
Right.
Bacon used to be sold by the pound, it's now sold by the half pound.
Oh, wow.
Or the 3/4 pound. Really go into your grocery store and start paying attention to the weights and measures, and you'll start figuring out you're paying the same price that you are, but you're getting less food. And so this in and of itself is economic collapse. corporations or food product companies, they're usually the first ones to be hit in an economic collapse or an inflation sort of scenario. And that's what we are. We're in an inflation sort of scenario. And so they still have to make money. Well, how do they make money with their profit margins being so slim? What they have to do is reduce actual product that they're selling. So how they reduce it is, making boxes bigger and wider and thinner and not putting as much and changing the weight ratios and the descriptions and all that. Here's one. Just recently, Oreo. Oreo has recently come out with their Slim Oreo. Have you seen that on TV?
No, I haven't.
Oh wow, yeah. On TV you can see the Slim Oreo.
Oh geez.
Well, I mean, so it's and they're kind of pushing it as the dietary Oreo. So how much money are they really making? So you still get your Oreo, but you're not eating as much.
Right.
Well, how much are they? I bet you they're selling that for more. Because I haven't seen them personally, but I bet you they're selling them actually for more because they're the special Slim Oreo. And yet, when you really look at it, the product that is there, you're paying more for less product.
Right.
And then another company, there's this cheese company. Oh my goodness, it's an old man and a young man talking about their cheese and how we now have the slim portions, and they're quoting it and making it like it's better for you because there's less cheese, and but you're going to pay more price for it because there's less cheese and it's good for you, and you'll lose weight, all this other junk, and so the companies are having to come up with interesting and thought-provoking and ideas to make you to still actually spend more for less food. And so these are things that we're already seeing right now. And how is it affecting the average family household? Again, you are spending more money and you're getting less food. Right. I mean, have you noticed that personally, Josh?
Oh yeah. Our shopping bill seems to increase, and at first I thought it was just because the kids are getting older and they're eating more and whatever, but it's a drastic increase. So we've been looking for ways that we can try to keep that down, but it's getting rough out there.
Yeah, what's happening though is yes, your kids are getting older, but you're actually bringing less food home, but spending actually more money.
Yeah.
So right now we are in the beginning throes of an economic collapse, and most people don't even realize it.
Wow. Yeah, that's...
And it's right there in front of our face, right there in front of your nose. And I challenge the listeners to go out and really look at the grocery store. Spend time, look at weights, look at measures, look at what you're really getting, and think back to when just 5 years, or even just think back to when you were younger. How many hot dogs came in an Oscar Mayer packet? It was usually 8.
Yeah.
And now they do 6.
Yeah.
And in fact, even in the olden days, there were 10. Back when I was growing up, there was 10 hot dogs and in fact, you can look at how many buns there. Usually, there's 8 buns in a packet of hot dog buns.
Right.
So there's 8 buns. Well, there's no longer 6 hot dogs to a pack.
Huh.
Now, watch for the hot dog companies or the bun companies to start only putting 6 buns in a bun pack.
Right.
Yet you're going to still pay the same price, probably something like $1.25 or $1.75 or $2.50 for a pack of buns.
Wow.
For hot dog buns. Same price, less buns. Same price, less hot dogs. So yeah, it's hitting us right now.
Yeah, definitely.
But people don't even know.
Yeah, it sounds like they do it in a way that's so subtle that you really gotta watch for it. So if this is the way that it begins, how does it end, and what does the end of this process look like, and what would like a fair estimation of when we could just expect the bottom to just fall out?
I mean, in all honesty, since we're here in September and we've been hearing a lot about the Shemitah and blood moons and end of the world and all this, I've been warning my readers for about 3-4 months now. Folks, listen, this is coming. People are going to get all hyped out and everything. Thing is don't buy into it,
Right.
because one, the powers that be, let's call them the elite or whatever you want to call them, the powers that be, they still have way too much money on the table. Their goal is to bleed us dry. Well, we've got too much blood in us still. Just fact, 2-3 weeks ago, remember that when the Dow dropped 1,000 points on
Yeah.
that Monday and everything, the market lost, I want to say something like $1.3 trillion. Now you spread that out over everybody and their retirement accounts and all this other stuff, and maybe you may have lost $1,000 to $5,000.
Right.
So an average person will look at that and they go, oh wow, I've only lost $1,000 to $5,000. Okay, I can hang, we'll just recover and let it sit and it'll grow back again and yada yada yada. Well, excuse me, what happens in, say, October, we have another Dow drop or another correction or another whatever, and we lose another 1.3 trillion. Well, now people are losing, $10,000 now when you kind of put all of it together. They've lost, $5,000 to $10,000. See, you keep doing that over and over again, and what they're doing is they're slowly robbing the baby boomers' retirement. Right now, baby boomers have most of the wealth in the world. And so we're seeing a literal exchange of wealth taking place right now. As the baby boomers die, that wealth is being passed on. Well, the laws and rules have been slowly changed over the years, that inheritance is being eaten up. With the cost of housing and everything, more and more people are foreclosing. A lot of people actually put money into their homes thinking they were good investments, and think, well, one day I'll sell my home and retire on that. Well, now in today's world, the real estate market is starting to form a bubble. And probably around 2016, 2017, that bubble is going to pop again, and the real estate market is just going to drop through the floor. So, people who still have mortgages and are maybe looking at having their home be their retirement and everything right now, they may lose it all in the next bubble burst. And it is coming. Thing is that it is coming. There is nothing that Congress can do about it. Senate president, nothing. What it is purely demographically driven, meaning the baby boomers. The baby boomers were the largest generation affecting the U.S. They produced more money than any other generation in the history of the United States. So what's happening now is a couple things. One, the baby boomer generation is coming into what I call the ERISA effect. ERISA is a law that was written by Richard Nixon that created the 401k, the IRA, basically self-directed retirement plans, where in the olden days there were pensions. Companies actually had to create pensions, hire people to control the pensions, do all that. They were professionally managed pensions. So what Nixon did is he says, hey, let's give the control to the people themselves and let them control it. Well, almost 80% of the people out there don't know what is doing or how their retirement works and all this other junk. They don't pay attention. And so, they just, don't know it's there. But anyways, in that law that Richard Nixon wrote and had passed through and everything, there is a little line in it that at 72 and a half, you must withdraw your money from your 401k or IRA or whatever self-directed retirement plan that you had. Well, in 2015, I want to say 9 million people started to withdraw their money from their IRAs and stuff. We're starting to hit a peak period. 2015 is the first peak period, and we have about 9 million, excuse me, 7 million, about 7.3, 7.5 million people who are hitting that 72 and a half year old point. So what's happening is these 9 million people or 7 million people are being forced to withdraw their money out of their IRAs, their 401ks, things like that. Think about it for a second. Where is this money sitting right now? When people have a 401k, How are they making money for their retirement fund? Can you answer that for me, Josh?
I don't I don't know.
You're just like almost, I mean, to be honest, that is not a bad answer. It truly isn't, because you're an example of most of America. Most of America
Yeah.
doesn't know.
Yeah,
And
that's why I've been so thrilled about this episode, because I'll be the first to admit, and I was even talking to my wife about it too. You know, I'm really glad that that we're doing this show, because I really know nothing about finances or just that whole side of life,
yeah,
and it's important. You know, I need to know, I need to learn, and
yeah, yeah,
but yeah, and I think a lot of people find themselves in that
yeah,
in
they
that
do.
arena. Yeah.
Yeah. But when most people, I mean, the majority of people, in fact, almost anybody who has a 401k, IRA, any sort of self-directed retirement account, their money is being made. How they make money is via the stock market.
Oh, okay.
And so they buy into these mutual funds and all these other things, and so the stock market, a lot of our retirement fund is actually wrapped up into the stock market. Now, 2015 is here. We are having 7 point something million people pull their money out of their 401ks, IRAs, and stuff like that. So where is that money coming from then, Josh? Where are they pulling that money from? I just said it.
Oh, the stock markets and
The stock market.
right.
Okay. So if people are pulling their money out of the stock market, what is happening to the stock market? The stock market is all of a sudden starting to go, oh, wow. When you have all of a sudden people selling, because that's what, to get your money out, you have to sell your mutual funds. And so as more people start selling their mutual funds, so we have 7 point something million people selling their mutual funds this year and basically cashing out.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, we're going to have about, 9.4 million people plus the 7 point something million people. Now we're looking at 16 million people cashing out of the stock market.
Wow.
Next year, we're going to have something like 12, the following year is going to be like 12 million. So now we have 16 plus 12 is 28. That's 28 million people in these last, 2.5 years cashing out of the stock market.
Wow.
What is happening? Do you understand what's happening here? All of a sudden, people are going, hey, how come the price of my bonds are going down? How come the price of my stocks are going down? How come I need to sell too? My prices are going down. Oh no. And what happens is you start having a supply and demand issue.
Mm-hmm.
And in this situation, what naturally happens is stocks go down. And now, if you're knowing that this is going to happen, and you're there, you can bet actually against stocks, and you can say, I want to buy X amount of derivatives, or I forget what they call them right now at this moment, but they can actually buy insurance saying, I bet XYZ company is going to lose money in the next 48 hours.
Oh, wow.
And if they do, you make a boatload of money.
Mm-hmm.
But if your bet is wrong, then yeah, you'll lose your money. But so the people who are in the know all these things are going on, know these stocks are going to go down. So if you know that stocks are going to go down and everything, wouldn't it be wise of you to maybe kind of bet against the stock market?
Right.
And make a boatload of money? That's what's happening. And so the market is going crazy, and as we move into 2017, 2018, 2019, all these people, the stock market is just going to continually adjust itself, and the Dow is going to go down, stock prices are going to go down, and everything, because again, the supply and demand is going to get into effect. And when it finally goes crazy, and we saw a glimpse of that this Monday, this past, couple weeks ago Monday, when the Dow dropped 1,000, there was absolute craziness going on, all because of China and their economic issues, and people were selling like crazy just because of what was happening in China. Now,
Wow.
that's China.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine when finally people start waking up here and say, oh no, I'm losing money like crazy because all these baby boomers are selling off their stock. and my prices are dropping. And if I bought in at $20 a share and it's now sitting at 23, and if I wait much longer, it's probably going to hit 19. I've
Right.
now lost money. So you can understand the craziness and the whole supply and demand issue. It'll what will happen is eventually when the masses wake up and go, oh crud, my retirement account is in danger, grave danger. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to be cashing out.
Right.
And they're going to say, you know what? I will take that tax hit because I want all the money that I can get right now. It's better than not having anything left.
Wow.
And so all what's happening then on the flip side is all the bankers and the elite and everything are making money like crazy because they're betting that the stock market is going to drop because they know it is. And again, it's just nothing that they control. This is pure demographics. This is pure baby boomer numbers. Baby boomers must take their money out of their retirement funds at 72 and a half. They know it. They know how many baby boomers are 72 and a half at this year. They know how many baby boomers are at 72 and a half next year, so off and so on. So if you want to make money, actually, learn how to get into the, and again, I believe it's the derivatives market, which is a very risky market, and you need to have a lot of money to play with. But if you win, you can win hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the odds are is that you can win because baby boomers are cashing out, stock prices are dropping, and so this is what's happening. And I honestly believe around 2018, 2019, we will probably, when the good majority of the baby boomers have already started to cash out and now they're dying, that's probably when we'll see a real economic collapse take place.
Wow.
We're going to see bleed outs here and there. Like this past Monday, was a little bleeding session where they dropped the Dow 1,000 and lost 1.3 trillion. They're going to do a lot of those. And so over the time of people, one, losing money on these little cuts that were, these little drops in the market, and losing money because all the baby boomers are cashing out, and all the people who are also cashing out because they see their stock dropping too. Do you see what all this taking place and understand what I'm kind of
Yeah.
saying here?
Yeah.
We're seeing panic. Basically, we're on the verge of panic. And when the masses wake up and panic happens, the market is just going to go spiraling down and everything. Now, that's situation number one. Situation number two, 2016, and all the mortgage brokers know this too. Again, we're dealing with baby boomer demographics. Baby boomers are selling their homes in droves right now because they don't need these big houses anymore.
Right.
And they're wanting to cash in on their little retirement investment. And what's happening is in 2016, there are going to be approximately 75 million homes on the market. In 2016, there's only going to be about 25 million qualified buyers in the market. The problem is that these qualified buyers, even though they're somewhat qualified, they can't get a loan.
Yeah.
So what happens when all of a sudden you flood the market with 75 million homes and there are no buyers? What happens? What happens is the market, the real estate market drops. In fact, drops right through the floor.
Wow.
And so everybody is going to be trying to sell their home like crazy just to get their little quote unquote retirement investment out.
Right.
So those of you who have been thinking about it, and for example, if you've been buying precious metals and doing things like that and setting up nest eggs and housing your income and money in ways to maintain its wealth, then when all this goes on, you can literally go buy probably a ranch for pennies on the dollar.
Wow.
But you've got to be ready. So now the people right now, if you're holding a mortgage right now and you just bought a home and you're pretty strapped because of the mortgage, in 2016, 2017 and everything, the banks are going to start calling in the loans because the real estate market is going to drop through the floor. When the real estate drops through the floor, banks panic. They want their money no matter what. So either they're going to do one of two things. They're going to foreclose on you, which was something we're seeing right now take place, or you're going to get in the mail, say, listen, we are going to foreclose on you, but you have this option. You can stay where you are, living where you are, and here's a nice little rental agreement. You will now be renter instead of owner.
Wow.
So boom, there just went your home. And that's very common practice. It's happening in California right now, in fact. People are instead of all the foreclosures that are going on in California and everything, companies, banks realize it's better to keep people in a home, to keep them there and keep the home going, because it's their investment in a sense, than just foreclosing on it and letting it go to waste. Because a home not lived in just falls to pieces. So that's situation number two. So you have these two situations going on: the stock market losing money over the years, and then also the real estate market losing money over the years. Can you see the direction that our nation is going?
Yeah.
And there is nothing the presidents are going to be able to do about it. There is nothing, now they can probably do some pretty radical stuff, because the way that you would counteract this is basically put America back to work. But these presidents, since George W. Bush, Bush Sr., Clinton, Bush Jr., and Obama, all four of these guys have purposely been working to basically destroy our nation. And I know there's a lot of people, how can you talk about George Bush that way? Folks, dude was not good.
Right.
Neither one of them. And so they're globalists, and they're part of those who want to bleed the country dry because there's so much money still left on the table.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, now one of the ways that you can combat this is greatly reduce taxes, create jobs, do a lot of things like that to put America back to work again, and then you'll be able to somewhat counter this. But a lot of the people running right now, they're just run-of-the-mill establishment, and they're just going to continue on with the status quo. So look for this to just continue on unless we get a president in there that will actually maybe do something different, get radical, and actually start saving the nation. So There is a chance, there is a possibility, but with a lot of the people out there, I don't hold out much hope. Now, I do have to say I am a person who loved Donald Trump, and I do understand this guy's a corporate pirate. He is an egomaniac corporate pirate, and he is all about the dollar. But our nation is in such a bad turmoil right now that we kind of need a corporate pirate at the helm, and it will get ugly, it'll get messy, it will be hard, it will get, people will really get upset. But if he does what he says he's going to do, he will probably set America straight again. But it'll take a lot of pain and a lot of bleeding, and a lot of, to do it. But will America vote for that or not? We don't know. I like him because he's an outsider.
Yeah.
And he isn't establishment. So there's my little bit of political thing there. But these are things that are happening. And if we stay with status quo, there's nothing that President, Senate, or Congress can do about it, because what we're dealing with is literally a demographic, a number of people who are wherever, if you think about it, wherever the baby boomer generation went, that's where they made money. The baby boomer generation was created because of World War II and all the troops coming home and having babies all at once. And so when all those babies were being born at once and everything, companies like Gerber Foods came out of that. Companies like Pampers and other diaper companies, other things like that were born. When the baby boomer kids got, say, around 5 years old and everything, what did these baby boomer kids need? Well, they needed toys. So companies like Hasbro, Mattel, Whammo, were born because there was a great demand for toys. Well, as the kids grew a little bit older and mom maybe wanted to start working a little bit more and this and that, what happened is, we need to start feeding faster and everything. So thus the dawn of fast food. McDonald's was born. Kentucky Fried Chicken was born. The drive-through was born. And so forth and so on. Bigger cars also. Car companies recognized that families needed bigger cars, so they started creating station wagons and sedans and all these other things. Now, the baby boomer kids start getting older. Let's call them 15 or 16. Actually, just do 16 years old. These are all, 16-year-old baby boomers. There's a whole bunch of them. So what do you do when you got a bunch of 16-year-old boys, who dig in cars? What do you build? The Mustang,
right?
And the Camaro, and the Corvette, and so again, American industry always answered the need of the baby boomers, and every time you answer the need of the baby boomers, you make money. You make boatloads of it. Well, now the baby boomers are getting old. They're turning, getting up there. They're dying. So companies like medical companies and everything, because baby boomers are needing more medical care, so naturally medicines and stuff are now making a lot of money. Look for funeral homes and mortuaries and everything. You start making money because a lot of baby boomers are dying. It's a good business to be in right now. Wherever corporate America places themselves ahead of the baby boomers, they will always make money. And so we're seeing these things take place, and so there's a huge transfer of wealth going on, and the powers that be want that wealth. And so they've made laws so that people cannot, inheriting now is becoming difficult. You just can't write a will anymore to your kids and hope that they get your stuff.
Right.
There's what is it, not escrow, but probate and all this other stuff that they got to do, and there's now death taxes that need to be paid and inheritance taxes and everything. So the powers that be are robbing that money even when you die.
Wow.
So there's really nothing. And then on top of that, so I talked about foreclosures in a roundabout way, and now I'm coming back around to full circle. There's another thing going on too that has been recently made popular, and that's called the reverse mortgage. So on one side, you have foreclosures, banks taking homes. But on the other side, you have the same thing, reverse mortgages, banks taking homes. Where is any income or anything? It's biblical that you should leave money for your kids and grandkids.
Yeah.
Inheritance is a biblical tradition, and it's talked about in Scripture. You need to leave things for your kids and grandkids to continue the family line, the family name, and help them preserve the right things and the right lives. Well, if you have foreclosures taking place and you have reverse mortgages taking place, where is any inheritance possibly for any kids?
Yeah.
Nothing. It's gone. Now, just because you have a reverse mortgage too does not guarantee that that money is that they're going to only give you what they believe your home is worth. And so as the market drops, these reverse mortgages, because they're not guaranteed, they're not fixed. They're based upon what your home and everything is worth. Well, as your home worth goes down, then what's going to happen to your reverse mortgage check that you're going to get every month? It's going to go down too.
Yeah.
So, we're seeing all these things take place, and probably around 2017, 2018, when the elites and the powers that be have bled America enough, I believe then they will actually pull the carpet out from under everybody's feet, and then, we'll probably see a severe economic collapse.
Wow.
But these are things that should not sneak up on us. Those who are watchmen on the wall, those of us who are paying attention to everything, these things should not be like, oh, wow, this happened. This people like us need to be awake. We need to be paying attention to see what's going on and realize what's going on and start building your ark and adjusting accordingly, so that you can weather these storms. I'm 54 years old. I've got a number of years still to live and everything. Yeah. I doubt Social Security will be around when I'm at that age. And if it isn't going to be worth very much. So I'm doing things to help build an ark, build a retirement that I control and things that I do and everything, instead of trusting, Wall Street and this and that and 401ks. And, we personally cashed out. and we invested our stuff in preparedness things,
Yeah.
And being prepared, and stuff that would help us no matter where we are. We'll be able to continue to eat, continue to live, and maintain some semblance of quality of life. So these are things that so basically, my fair estimation is, probably around 2017, 2018. Now, there's a lot of people out there probably, oh, but September 24th is coming, and we're supposed to be hit with tidal waves, asteroids, and meteors. I mean, like it or not, I mean, stinking Pat Robertson was predicting the meteor in the Caribbean back in the early 1980s.
Right.
And these sort of rumors just get rehashed about every 5 or 6 years or something. This pastor out in Puerto Rico grab hold of it.
Yep.
And so now he's had some dreams and visions, and and so but about every 5 or 6 years, some new pastors, TV evangelist grabs hold of this meteor in the Caribbean thing, and but Pat Robertson probably grabbed it from some other guy prior to that and everything.
Yeah.
But it's a rumor that's been going on and everything. But again, I don't see it happening. So
yeah, same here.
What I'm worried about are the loony people who think it is going to happen, and what are they going to do, say, on September 22nd?
Right.
What are they going to do? So it's kind of like that whole Mayan calendar thing. The Mayan calendar, there were lunatics running around on the street doing all kinds of stupid stuff and everything. Are we going to kind of see the same thing of that happening? Yeah, I think we'll probably see the loons out there on September 22nd at midnight, hooping it up and, whatever. But, it's just what we need to remember is in Ecclesiastes, Solomon wrote, God inspired Solomon to write that there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
And that we as man, we forget our own history.
Mm-hmm.
And that because we forget our own history, we are destined to repeat our own history. And this is Ray paraphrased, but you can go read it in Ecclesiastes 1, I believe 9 through 12.
Yep.
And but it's God said, a lot of people think time is linear. It isn't. Time is a circle. Time is cyclical. And man just keeps repeating the same stuff over and over again. Look at what we're doing right now in history. I mean, to me, I really look at what's happening, especially in the United States and everything. It really reminds me of pre-World War II Germany.
Right.
I mean, what's going on now? I mean, you can make movies right now or pull movies out from World War II and swap out the word Jew and put in the word Christian.
Yeah.
And all these Nazi propaganda films. Shoot, pull the word Jew and put the word Christian, and that's what's happening in America today. And so, and I keep telling people, and now I'm planning, I don't mean to be putting on my conspiratorial, foil hat.
Oh, no, that's what this show's all about. Go for it.
Okay. But, Congress and Senate didn't spend billions building FEMA camps for nothing.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting. This coming election is going to be interesting. That is if we even have an election. But, it'll be interesting to see who wins, what happens, and where will our nation go. Because if our nation maintains status quo, then look for the FEMA camps and the gas chambers. That's call that my prediction. I'm just looking into a crystal ball right now. I'm not being some prophet or anything like that, but just learning from history. That's what history shows.
Yeah.
And so we've been repeating history and everything. There's a very good movie or documentary that I put out there to my readers about a week ago, I believe. Yeah, last week, in fact. Last week. Yeah, no, 2 weeks ago. But go to YouTube and look up Argentina's Economic Collapse 2001 and pull it up. It's a documentary. It's about 2 hours long. Take the time to watch this. It's in Spanish. It's subtitled. But it documents the economic collapse of Argentina. And now Argentina is in their fourth cycle of hyperinflation.
Oh, wow.
But the powers that be, the elite and everything, wiped out Argentina. But what's amazing, if you watch that video, the very same things that happened to Argentina are happening and has happened to America.
Wow.
And we are only just steps away from that collapse. And so it's amazing to see everything that took place in Argentina. And what's amazing, why isn't Congress watching this and learning from it? They're not, So we're probably destined to repeat our own history or repeat the history. I mean, look at Zimbabwe, look at Argentina, look at the Weimar Republic in pre-World War II Germany. Countries, empires go through the same steps over and over again. We're doing the same things that Argentina did. Argentina is doing the same things that the Weimar Republic in Nazi Germany did. And so it's the same things. Man doesn't change. Man repeats his history over and over again. God said it. So by knowing these things, what you need to do is like, how can I then weather the storm? What can I do to help us, possibly survive a Great Depression or Great Hyperinflation or things like that? These are things that we need to think about, because like it or not, the average man is, they've been doing a good job of stealing our wealth and stealing our money. Man is working longer hours now and working harder and everything and bringing home less.
Yeah.
I mean, the bills are getting bigger and the paychecks are getting smaller. That's a planned thing to do. That isn't just by happenstance. It's planned. It's, they're causing inflation. They're manipulating markets so that basically what happens is eventually we turn into slaves, which is kind of what's happening already now. Either you can work for minimum wage for 19 hours a week or 20 hours a week, or you can work as an exempt employee, work exempt, and they work you 50, 60 hours a week for whatever, pittance salary they give you.
Yeah. Yeah. So talking about learning from the past and everything, I think that's really important too. What you actually dedicated a portion of your book to this. What what are some of the ways that people who had to survive the Great Depression? I think there's a lot of things we can learn from that. What were some of the ways that they survived that we might want to learn how to do for this future economic collapse?
Well, some of the things that they did is they actually came back together as a family.
Yeah.
That's one thing that the difference between today versus the Great Depression era. We have a very weak family structure.
Yeah.
Where during the Great Depression era, we still had church and we still had God and we still had the family. The powers that be and the haters of Christianity have done a great job of taking God out of the classroom, God out of the workplace, God out of the government, and just God out of the churches. So we don't have God anymore. They've also done a great job of during the sexual revolution and creating abortion and now marriage with sodomites and everything like that. They have destroyed everything basically wholly in regards to marriage and the family. How many people, divorce is rampant now. One out of every two marriages gets divorced. It's it's a common statistic now. So we don't have the solid family anymore. We don't have solid faith in God anymore. And those were the things that got the families through during the Great Depression, as they were able to have God in the family. But if you're a smart family, what I would do is buy a big old house and learn to live with each other.
Yeah.
Get grandma, grandpa, get, aunt and uncle, get, whatever, and, buy a couple acres so that you can farm it and raise gardens and try to be as self-sufficient as possible. Raise chickens and everything. Learn from the Great Depression, because that's what they did. You may have heard a term, victory garden. That came out of the Great Depression too, but it was also to help feed troops over during World War II. A lot of the corporate farms were feeding the troops, so people had to actually rely and become self-sufficient on their own, and so they planted what's called victory gardens, and what they grew is what they ate. And if they were able to sell some of it, then they did. But a lot of it is what helps feed the family and help keep the family unit going strong and keep the family unit going forward. So that's probably one of the biggest things that you can do is get the family unit back together again. and that way you don't have multiple incomes going out and everything like that.
Yeah.
You all work together as a cohesive, and I hate to use the word commune, but you're working together as a cohesive family unit for the survival of the family. And it's the grandkids that matter. They're
Yeah.
going to be the next generation, and so the morals and ethics and things that they can learn in that family unit during that time will help push them through in their later years, and as they're working and everything like that. That was one of the things that caused the help create the baby boomer generation and everything, is a lot of them came from strong family units out of the Great Depression. And so it strengthened, it gave these people moral fortitude and character and strength and things, because they survived it together as a family. And so that's probably the biggest and best thing that you can do. The second thing that you can do is become independent in a sense. If you're on the dole somehow, some way, then get off it and try to learn to be as independent as possible. A lot of us have jobs. I mean, prior to the 1900s, nobody had a job. Everybody was self-employed. Yet over these last 100 years, it's actually flipped. And it's like, oh my God, how do I survive without a job?
Right.
We need to get back in that mentality, is that we need to be entrepreneurs again. We
Yeah.
need to start being self-employed again. And not only with just one thing, we need to be self-employed in many facets and many directions. So the more businesses, in a sense, that you have, and that's another thing that they did during the Great Depression. So mom, not only did mom sew dresses and make aprons, and grandma make quilts and stuff, mom also would have had her chickens and sold eggs. Grandma would knit blankets. So they had multiple things that they did to bring income into the home. And the more cash flow streams that you can bring into the home, the better. The key is, and this is where a lot of people lose it, a cash flow stream is just that, a cash flow stream. So I would rather have $5 a week coming in consistently than $50 maybe every other year.
Right.
So it is what I try to do is, I've been building cash flow streams. And in fact, that's a book I'm getting ready to write, is creating a portable income. So that, and basically what that is creating cash flow streams. And the thing is you're not looking for the $1 million cash flow stream. What you're looking for is consistency. You want that cash flow stream to bring in money no matter what. Sometimes it's $5, sometimes it's 20, maybe it's 100. Hey, awesome. But you create a cash flow stream that no matter what will always produce some cash. Now, you've got that cash flow stream going. You then work on creating another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. After a while, all of a sudden, you're able to pay your electric bill just on your cash flow streams, or pay your internet bill, or pay all your household bills, because you've created cash flow streams. You've got money coming in no matter what. Plus, you may be working a job. But, what happens is, it's after a while, you're going to start looking, it's like, man, I can sit home and create cash flow streams and make more money than going out and working for a job and actually losing 50% of what I'm earning.
Right.
Because in the long run, whatever salary you're making, really, you only bring home about 50% when all's said and done, and everything, if you're that lucky. But with a cash flow stream, or what I call a home-based business, do you know that there are so many tax incentives for home-based businesses? It's amazing. Really? Oh, yes. Yeah. In fact, remember my book, Survive the Coming Storm, was my survival book. Survive the Coming Storm, The Value of a Preparedness Lifestyle.
Yeah.
In it, I wrote about my dehydrator, my pressure cooker. I wrote about my Glock. I wrote about, a lot of the goodies that I use to help keep our family going, and the things that we use and everything. Do you know that because I wrote about those, all those things were tax write-offs? That means that I got to buy those things basically for free. And I was able to write those things off as a tax write-off. Why? Because I'm a home-based business.
Wow. Now that's definitely something that I want to hear more about, and I was going to ask a question about it later on in the show, but I'm gonna bring it up now because we're talking about it. But
Yeah,
my wife recently. And we're brand new to a lot of this stuff. Like
yeah,
I'm not a business major. I know nothing about it or finances or
neither am I.
anything. Yeah, and my wife knows a little more than I do, but she's just starting out. She started her own at-home business thing. We have a
Hmm.
website set up. It's called
Awesome.
Neshama. Yeah, it's Neshama Essentials. It's like she makes soaps and lotions and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And
Awesome.
yeah, she bottles them here. I mean, it's a great product. I mean,
Hmm.
I mean, it's even stuff I would use.
Hmm.
But yeah, she does that, and what I do, I don't have, I have my whole disability thing, which I
Yeah.
desperately, I don't want to depend on that, so I'm
Hmm.
hoping. But
Well,
I write books and do this ministry thing, so
yeah,
I definitely want to ask you for more information on like what
yeah.
is like the
Well,
best things
let
people
me
can do for home.
okay,
Yeah,
let me address Shauna.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. One, what you need to do from this point on and I don't know how long Shauna has been doing this, so it's like she's been doing
But,
this since
oh.
January.
No, her name's not. Her name's Christina. The company name is Neshama Essentials.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay,
you're
Christina.
you're
Sorry.
you're gonna get me in trouble, Ray.
Okay, sorry.
She's gonna listen
Sorry.
to this and say,
Sorry,
Josh.
Christina. My mistake. My faux pas. Um,
All right, go ahead.
but okay, Christina.
Yeah.
Now, no matter what, you guys now have a home-based business that you guys can take advantage of. So let's say that your business started January 1st of this year.
Hmm.
What you should have been doing, and hopefully you have been doing, is every single receipt that you go shopping for or do or anything, you have kept.
Okay.
Because odds are anything you can tie back to Christina's business. And it's amazing. For example, Christina, does she work on the computer at all?
Yeah.
Or where does she, okay, let's say, where does she make her soaps? I'm assuming in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. So how large is your kitchen? How much of that kitchen does she use to produce the soaps?
Oh.
Is your kitchen say 20 by 20?
Yeah. We just have like a 3-bedroom apartment, so it's
Okay.
yeah. She
Yeah.
uses the whole
So
thing in the dining room and
okay.
some of the living room.
Okay. So okay. Perfect. Now, if you had a good accountant, what he would be asking you is measure off all of that space that she is using to produce her products. And then, how many days a month does she use that space to produce her products? And then you're able to actually write that off on your taxes against your rent.
Oh, really?
So say you're paying 500. Let's say you're paying $1,000 a month,
Uh huh.
and you're using 3/4 of your house to produce these products. And let's just say she's doing it 40 hours a week.
Hmm.
Okay, this is the grand scheme. That means she's full-time employed using these areas to produce her soaps and candles and lotions and yada 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 and everything. That means that say let's call it 3/4 of your home is being used to produce these items. That means 3/4 of your rent, if she's doing 40 hours a week, can be written off on your taxes.
Oh,
That
wow.
means, that's money back in your pocket
Yeah.
at the end of the year. So every bottle, every product, every little scent that she buys, every little whatever she uses, every little thing is a tax write-off. It's supplies and inventory. Every single pot, pan, anything like that. Does she use electric to light her home and light the area that
Yep.
she's working in? That part of that electric bill could get written off.
Wow.
Does she use any water or
Oh, yeah.
anything from your? Okay, so part of your water bill gets written off.
Wow.
Does she use a cell phone to call on and tell other people about her business and
Yeah.
everything? That cell phone can be not itemized, but anonymized, meaning that for 3 years she can take off a certain part of that cell phone for a tax write-off.
Wow.
Also, because she's doing business with the cell phone company, doing business and it's a cell phone, part of that cell phone bill, if not all of it, can be used as a write-off as well.
That's amazing.
So all this money, just out of this is one single home-based business.
Yeah.
It's just one. So all this money is now a complete write-off. So that means less money that you have to pay at the end of the year. Now you guys got kids and all this other stuff. Those are awesome. That means those are tax incentives. Those are so when you're able to write off these things, and then and what happens is, because of your home-based business and you spending and producing for your home-based business, after a while you're going to start bringing down the cost of your business earnings, and it's going to start to go kind of a little bit in the negative. But you're gonna spend more on your business and have more write-offs in your business than you will have taxes, and because of that, you'll have larger tax returns at the end of the year.
That would be great.
When we had kids and everything like that, and we were doing this, we were easily bringing $8,000-9,000 home every year every April.
Wow.
And because we had all these tax write-offs. So from this moment on, what you need to do is save every stinking receipt that you can. You need to start thinking back on anything that you bought this year. If you use a credit card for everything too, because it's trackable.
Okay.
Because even if you don't have a receipt, you can pull back your prior
statements.
What is it? Statements, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, your prior statements, and you go, oh, here, I bought something at JCPenney's, remember? So tax write-off. Oh, here, I bought something from Home Depot. Oh, here, tax write-off. And so what you do is you take this to your bookkeeper, and here's the key, though. You got to find a bookkeeper who specializes in home-based businesses. Don't take it to H&R Block or anything like that. You need to pay the money to get a good home-based business bookkeeper. And so what you need to do is actually interview bookkeepers. Don't take the very first bookkeeper you see out of the phone book and everything like that.
Right.
Now, you will pay money for this bookkeeper. But let me ask, is it worth you paying $350 to this bookkeeper and him get every write-off and keep you legal so that you can get an $8,000 to $9,000 return?
Oh, yeah.
Is that worth it?
Yeah.
So, so these are things that you do. Now, that's just Christine's one business. Your business is books.
Uh-huh.
Everything that you've written about. Do you have any office supplies? Your computers, your screens, your printers, pens, pencils, paper, anything, any lunches, any business trips. I know you go speaking around a conference. It's complete 100% tax write-off.
Really?
Oh, heavens, yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you pay any money for this software program that we're using right now so that we can speak to each other? That's a tax write-off.
Wow.
Anything that you used in your business, no matter how minuscule, is a tax write-off. And so now here you've identified your cash flow stream and Christine's cash flow stream.
Uh-huh.
So how many other cash flow streams can you create that will bring in money? And again, the key is not looking for the hundreds and millions of dollars. The key is that you just bring in consistent cash flow.
Yeah.
So let me ask a kind of and if you don't want to answer it, no biggie, but how much money does Christine averagely bring in per month?
Oh, I'm an open book. That's totally fine. Well, she's working at a bank right now, so she has that as her main job, and that's
that's not what I asked. How much
I know
money is Christine bringing in for her business, her home-based business? How much is that making?
Just her business. It just started, so not much.
Yeah. Well, $5 a month?
Sometimes not even that.
Okay.
Well, when she first started, she was getting about 110 the first couple of months. But since then it's dropped off. But a lot of that was because she started this new job and she's been focused on that. But she's now getting back into actually, making all the materials and stuff. So it'll be increasing again.
Believe it or not, she will actually make more money in the long run if she will start focusing and working her home-based business. Yeah. It sounds weird. It sounds impossible. It sounds, like you're a slave to yourself, which you are. But what you're doing is you're making yourself independent versus making the company that she's working for richer.
Right.
Who are you going to make richer? You and your family, or the company that you guys are working for?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that's what you need to look at. And in the long run, look at if you would sit there and you and Christine sit down at the table one of these nights. I'm serious. Sit down at the kitchen table and start from January of this year, January 1st. Okay, Christine, what did you buy in January? Did you buy these pots? Did you buy these pans? Did you buy these jars? Did you buy this? Did you buy that? This, and this. Do you have any check stubs for it? Do you have any receipts maybe for it? Do you have any credit card statements that can prove that? If you do, you now have tax write-offs. So look at those. She may have spent $300 in January on her stuff. That's $300 earned.
Wow.
Not $300 spent. That's now $300 earned in your favor to lower your tax burden so that you will now bring home more money in taxes, in tax refund. So now February, okay, Christine, how much money did you do here? What did you buy there? Where did you go here? This, that, and the other. Whoa, why? I spent $500 a month for this and this and that. But cool, you're now looking at $800 earned that her business earned you in tax relief.
That's amazing.
On top of, let's say that in January she earned $100 in selling product.
Mm-hmm.
So now you are in the positive $900.
Wow.
Just from that one. And so you see how this works?
Yeah.
You're not in the business of making money. You're in the business of doing tax loop. And these are legal, allowed, not cheating at all, tax loopholes that you can use. And a lot of people have no idea that you can do this with a home-based business. That home-based businesses are the best thing in the world. And so this is, the more home-based businesses then you can create, the better.
Yeah.
I have, so I do everything with survival. In my Survive the Coming Storm book, if you thumb through that and you look at every single product, all of those are tax write-offs for me.
Huh.
I bought those things. They are tax write-offs for me, and they paid me back. They're still paying me back.
Wow.
Every book I write, anytime I mention anything that's a product and I bought it, that now product went from something that I bought to something that is an asset. So what you guys do, so you have Christine's cash flow stream, and even though right now it's not making much, so let's just call it $5 a month.
Sure.
But you know what? That's $5 more that you have in your pocket in the positive than you didn't. But the flip side too is look at how much money she has earned you out of taxes and tax. What is it? Oh gosh, what is it? Not tax credits, tax. The word is now just totally tax benefits, tax
returns.
Not tax returns. Tax. I don't want to use the word tax loophole because it's what's another word for a tax loophole?
Finagle?
No. Tax write-off.
Oh, okay.
She's earned you. You're in the business. When you're in a small home-based business, you're not in the business of making money. You're in the business of making tax write-offs.
Okay.
And so the more tax write-offs you have, the more money you earn at the end of the year. And since you have kids and you're renting and all these other things, you're going to have a good chunk of tax write-offs. Now you add that, you add your kids and renting and this and that, and then you take a chunk of your electric bill, your rent bill, your water bill, your cell phone bill, all the things you're buying and everything, and now you add those to the tax write-offs that you have already. And what happens is that all of a sudden you've got a pretty nice, healthy tax return at the end of the year. And so that's having a home base. So you can look at that. Not only did Christine earned, let's just say she earned $5 a month for the year. So 5, 10, so $50, $60. She's earned $60 in cash. But in tax write-offs, she may have earned you at least a couple thousand.
Wow.
And so let's just call it $2,000 in tax write-offs. She's earned you $2,000 in tax write-offs plus $60 in earned income. So that's $2,060 that she's earned you having a home-based business. Now what you do is you multiply that or you clone that. And what I do is I make home-based businesses out of things that I enjoy. So, for example, I enjoy my knives and swords and everything like that. Guess what I write about now? I write about knives and swords and everything like that.
Yeah.
And now, here's another plus. not only is every single sword and knife that I got a tax write-off because I write about them and blog about them and write reviews and do YouTube videos about them and everything, so they're all completely tax write-offs, but I now, because everybody loves the knives and swords and everything that I got, I now also add a little Amazon link, and anybody who clicks on that link to buy one of those cool knives or swords, guess what? I make a little bit of money off of that commission. But that's not even the better thing. The better thing is that I now grab their cookie for 24 hours, and anything they buy off of Amazon for 24 hours, I make a commission on.
Oh, wow.
So I've created now another cash flow stream out of my blogging and everything. So now, so let's say they buy my knife, but then they went and bought a book and bought a DVD and bought some exercise equipment or whatever, survival gear. I mean, anything. So this is why I write a lot of articles about products and reviews, and I really try not to write about anything that I don't use myself, because and so I'm writing personal reviews. One, I want to own the product myself, because why? Because I bought that product. That product's a tax write-off. But now that I've got that product and say I can own that product and write about that product, I can put it up on Amazon and make money on it double. Wow. So not only do I make money because it's a tax write-off, I'm making money on it too, because Amazon's paying me for commissions because I wrote about it.
That's
amazing.
So do you see?
Yeah. So do you see all this? So now and so these are the little things that you do is creating cash flow streams. Now, is my Amazon money consistent? Hey, sometimes I make $20 a month. Sometimes I make $150. One time I made $300. Hey, woohoo!
Yeah.
That's cash flow. But you know what? Every month now, I make money from Amazon. I have created a cash flow stream. It doesn't matter how much money I make. It's just that I'm making money.
Yeah.
And, my books are selling on Amazon. I write books on Amazon. And so I'm making a little, I average probably about $40 a month in book commission.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? That's another cash flow stream. So what you do to help preserve your income is you create cash flow streams like crazy. Another thing that I do is I sell Thrive. I sell Thrive food. I love this stuff, and I totally believe in it. We raised our kids on Thrive food. The stuff tastes great, and believe me, I have tried a lot of the survival foods out there and everything, and they suck. They taste like either cardboard or salty cardboard or salt. I mean, they're bitter. I mean, they're nasty. I've eaten a lot of them. I've tried Wise. I've tried Provident Pantry. I've tried Emergency Essentials. I've done MREs. MREs. I've tried them all. But Thrive is the only food that – and Tracy's picky. Oh, my goodness, Tracy's picky. But Tracy will eat Thrive. She loves it. My grandkids love Thrive. My oldest son now is getting Thrive monthly because his kids love it.
Oh,
and his wife loves cooking with it. It is so easy to cook with. It's so easy to use and everything. But the thing is, too, because the cost of food is so high now, it is actually cheaper to buy Thrive in 10 – they're called number 10 1-gallon cans.
Okay.
Let's just say sweet corn. Sweet corn, I want to say something is like $13 for a big 1-gallon can of sweet corn that's freeze-dried. There is something like 40 servings of corn in that can. Now, an average can of corn at the grocery store, Green Giant, is probably what, $1.75, $2.25, I don't know. But it only has 2.3 servings or 2.2 servings in the can for $1.20. Let's just call it $1.50. So for $1.50, so $1.50, let me whip out my calculator here. So 1.50 times, so how many were 40? So times 40 is $80. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I've got $60. I didn't have my glasses on. So the 40 servings of canned corn that, and I think I added that up wrong, but I'm not doing per serving, but I'm spending $60 to kind of equal the same amount of servings in that 1 gallon freeze dried can of corn.
Oh wow!
And in that 1 gallon in that 1 gallon can of freeze dried corn, I'm averaging about 40 servings. To get 40 servings out of, like, say, Green Giant or something, I have to spend about, let's call it $30 to be fair.
Right.
So we're for $30. But you can buy that same can of corn, of freeze-dried corn, and it's rocking, man. You can eat that. Dude, I can sit and watch TV and eat that stuff like popcorn. It is so stinking good. I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
That's awesome.
But I'm only paying $14 for a can.
Yeah.
So my son, he's been doing the math, and it's like, dude, this food is not only good, it's cheap because you're buying in bulk.
Wow.
And so, again, how you make money is by saving money.
Yeah.
Look at how much money you're throwing away at the grocery store, whereas if you would actually sit down, you and your wife, and do some comparative notes, where can we really save money? Now, okay, yes, you're putting out, wow, I'm paying $14 for a can of corn. That's a lot of people's thought. Wow, I'm paying 14. They look at that at the big front end. They don't look at the long-term savings.
Right.
A can of corn, when we had our family, a can of corn, and I used corn like crazy because the kids loved it and the grandkids loved it. A can of corn would averagely last me probably about a month and a half, 2 months. And so for $14, I can use that corn and feed my family month and a half, 2 months.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Now I was not using weighed out portions and all that. I'd throw in handfuls here, do that there. I put it in soup. I'd put it in casseroles. We at the ranch, because we had chickens, I was always doing quiche and everything. The kids love quiche. Wife loved quiche, so I put it in quiche and everything. Stews, you name it. Anywhere I could throw corn, I would.
Yeah.
So corn would last me and stuff. Now, if we wanted fresh corn, we just went down to there's a farm that was down the road that raised corn all the time. So I buy 8 ears for $2, because they knew us. We were buds and everything. But you know what? If you would really sit down and do some cost comparisons like that and see where can you save money, all of a sudden you got money. Again, Ben Franklin said money saved is money earned.
Yeah.
So that's another way of saving money. When you have that money saved, guess what? You can now reinvest that money into other businesses that you want to start. Other businesses, for example, Thrive. On average, my cash flow stream for Thrive is probably about $200 a month.
So you're making money off of that.
I'm making money off of it right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I've been making money off of it now for 3 or 4 years.
Is that by signing other people up for it, or
I sign up other people. I only make $50 whenever I sign up somebody.
Okay.
But I make money because I sell food.
Yeah.
And it's on my website. I do nothing, and so it's a great. Now I do help people. When I do sign up people, it is not a multi-level marketing company. And I am pro multi-level marketing. What Thrive is direct sales, and there are differences. There's a lot of people out there. Oh, Thrive's multi. No, it isn't. It really isn't. And that's ignorance on them for not knowing multi-level and this and that. But I hire people. People can come work for me in a sense, but I teach them how to sell food and everything, and it's really easy. It's not hard to sell this stuff. You open up a can and say, "Here, try this corn. Oh, here, try this freeze-dried pineapple. Oh, here, try this, pomegranate yogurt, freeze-dried pomegranate yogurt. Try those." And okay, did you like all of those? Did they taste good? They're going, yeah, chomp, 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 yum, yum, yum. And it's like, can you survive off of that? And they go, oh yeah. Well, here, buy some food then.
There you go.
I give them my card. They go to my website. Cha-ching. They bought food.
Yeah.
I make money. And on average, now here's the cool thing about Thrive, and I'm not trying to do a sales pitch here.
Oh, you're fine.
Like
You're
fine.
fine.
But I'm with Thrive. Not only do I make 10% on earnings, but I make about 7% on free food too.
Oh,
so
wow.
Not only do I get money, I then also get free food. So now, let me throw this at you, Josh, and I am doing a little sales pitch here. How many listeners do you have?
I
Let's say
usually,
I'm in the thousands. You have
yeah, I usually,
thousands of listeners?
I usually,
Okay,
yeah,
let's just keep it at that.
yeah.
Let's keep it simple. You have thousands of listeners. How many of these thousands of listeners trust you in what you say? Probably a good number of them, right? Yeah.
I would hope.
So if you started trying Thrive Food, it's like, hey, Christine, this stuff does taste good. Ray was right, man. We need to start selling this too. Let's start, so not only will you make money, hey, we'll get free food too. It helps us raise the kids, and we're going to lower our grocery bills. I lowered my grocery bills about $700 a month.
Wow.
Just using Thrive. Yeah, it's wonderful. But if you start telling people, hey, folks, this is how me and Christine are lowering our bills, and I used to carry the stuff around. This is my stinking HEB bill, man. This was then. This is now. I'm now earning money from Thrive and getting free food. Here is now my groceries bill. And people were freaking out. And then I'd also show them some of the checks that I was making and everything. And all I'm doing is doing exactly what you do. Getting on my podcast and saying, hey, folks, listen, you want good food? The grocery stores suck today. Prices are outrageous. But you know what? This is what you can do. Start buying food in bulk. And start buying Thrive. Not only does this food last 25 years on your shelf life, it is non-GMO. A lot of it is gluten-free, and this stuff just rocks. Christine eats it, my kids eat it, and you would love it too. So trust me, start buying this food, and then look how many people go to your website, Josh, and start buying just because you stepped up to the plate and say, hey folks, this stuff is good. How hard is that?
Yeah.
It's making money. You just now created another cash flow stream. Everything that I do with Thrive is now a tax write-off too. So if I order business cards, I have a monthly website that I buy every month. It's $9.99. That's a tax write-off. Anytime, any postage or anything that I have, because I have to pay $6.99 about to ship my food every month. So that's a write-off. In fact, buying the food is a write-off because it's a business expense, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
And where most food is not, only food that is a business expense is when you do entertainment and you're taking people out to eat.
Yeah.
But because I have to buy $50 a month of food to remain as a consultant, which is the only thing you have to do, by the way, is just buy $50 worth of food.
Okay.
But I buy $50 worth a month of food, so 55. That's $500. That's $600 a month that I'm spending at least. That, guess what, is a tax write-off. Cha-ching.
Yeah.
And so that's now I've created another cash flow stream. And what do I do to work that cash flow stream? I mean, you can go to my website. Look, I got banners on my website for Thrive. How hard is that?
Right.
How often do you really see me push and Thrive? You don't.
Right.
I don't really talk about it much. I rarely write about it. But when I do, there's times that I feel the need to write about it and everything because I'm seeing grocery prices go through the roof or something.
Yeah.
Rice, for example, we're starting to come into and this is something for your readers. I keep a really close eye on food production and harvests and stuff. There is slowly becoming another rice famine globally. I don't know if you remember 3 or 4 years ago, 6 years ago, there was rice famine. Rice prices just shot through the roof.
Oh, right, yeah.
Start buying rice right now so that you can kind of stock up and have it on hand and everything. But the nice thing is because Thrive, they've got the rice and everything. You can buy 10, a number 10 can of rice, stick it back behind. That rice will last 25 plus years.
Yeah.
In the can and everything. So, but anyways, you're able to not only tell folks, hey folks, listen, there's a rice famine coming up, or there's this coming up, or beef is going out of the stratosphere. You could buy Thrive beef, in which their roast beef and their freeze dried roast beef and other stuff is wonderful. But these are things that you can do to talk about, and your listeners are going to trust you. They're going to listen to you. Hey, man, Josh is a good guy, man. We trust him. If Josh says it and he's feeding his family it and he's saving money on his grocery bill, then maybe we need to, hey, Martha, maybe we need to start doing what Josh and Christine are doing. You know?
Yeah, and I'm glad that you bring it up that way too, because that's the main thing with me. I'm never going to promote something that I don't believe in, so I'd have to try it out first. Which of course I know that you do that too, so that's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also I'm actually glad that, and you know, I don't really know enough about, but I'm glad that it's not multi-level marketing because for my past experiences, I'm ruined on market or that multi-level marketing.
Thing is,
I tried it out a couple times, and both times were just epic failures. And it might have just been the
yeah,
company, but it might.
yeah,
But for me, I like to keep things as simple as possible. Like I want to
hmm
know how I'm actually making
well,
money.
yeah,
What you're describing is a way that in certain other areas I'm already doing, and not obviously not with this company, but like through AdSense and putting like ads in my
yeah.
blog. I mean, it sounds a
hmm
lot like that. So
You're
that
creating cash
yeah.
flow streams.
Yeah, so that's good. So at least I get it. Like I get how the economics works in that type of model. So I really like that, and I definitely be willing to try it out and see. And if I mean if it's as good as you say it is, I mean that would be really good for us, and I'm sure good for a lot of people
hmm
listening too.
hmm No, it is. It's great food, but and like I said, we raised our kids on it. We raised our grandkids. My son is now raising his kids on it. My middle son gets it,
Yeah,
and everything. And what the biggest thing that like Crystal, who's my son, she's my daughter-in-law. Crystal loves it because they're seeing their grocery bills go down,
yeah.
and because they're eating in bulk, and the kids love it too, and it's easy to cook with. She's able to make meals in minutes. I can put together a quiche in minutes, where
Man.
quiche normally takes at least 45 minutes prep time. I can do it in 10.
Oh, that would be
And
so good for us, cause
yeah, I mean, and that's what she loves.
yeah.
She's learning how to make all these things, and every once in a while she'll call me, Ray. Guess what I did? And I did this, blah blah blah. And she made something, and it only took me 5 minutes. Do
Wow.
you believe that? And I go, yeah, I do actually. But she gets all excited and everything. But thing is that what you do is, and I'm glad that you talked about your experience with MLMs. What happens is you've discovered things that you're not interested in.
Yeah.
The MLM, to be honest, an MLM is not a bad thing. They truly are not.
Right.
What people need to realize, because everybody, what happens with MLMs, they buy into the hype and all this other junk and think they're going to get rich quick, and then all of a sudden the rubber meets the road, and they go, oh crap, I've got to work.
Yeah.
And and that's what happens with most people in most home-based businesses.
Yep.
Is they go, oh no, I've got to actually work and work hard, because you will actually work harder being in a home-based business. I mean, how many hours do you put in producing your radio show, writing
Oh.
your articles, researching your books?
Oh
I
man,
mean, I know
I have never worked so hard in my life, even when I had,
yeah.
what people would consider a real job. Like it is
hmm
it's all day, every day, and
Yeah, it is.
I love it, but I mean
Yeah,
it is nonstop.
yeah. I mean, I totally agree, and that's what I tell, if, and this is for all your listeners out there, if soap is what makes you all excited, and laundry soap, and you're just all about dishwashing soap and everything, you might want to look into a company called Amway.
Okay.
Now, 99.9% of everybody that joins Amway think it sucks.
Right.
But, if you're all about soap, you may love it. I
Yeah.
mean, Mark Twain once said, make your vocation your vacation, or make your vacation your vocation, and you'll never work a day in your life.
Amen.
It's like you and I
Yeah.
do what we love.
Yes.
I mean, I praise the Lord every day that I am honored to do His service. I
Yeah.
mean, I cannot imagine working for the man anymore. I
Same
really
here.
can't.
Same
I
here.
can't. I mean, now I'm going to be honest with you. I don't make a lot of money, and I hate people. And you probably get them too. That, oh, you're selling the gospel. Oh, you're making money. Oh, you're.
Oh.
And I always come back to people and say, well, do you work for a living? Yeah. Well, why are you preventing me? What's your gripe about me making an earning for my family, keeping
Yep.
the electric on and the food on the table? What's your beef? You get to do it, but you're saying that I don't get to do it. So that kind of makes you a hypocrite, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're able to do it, but I can't.
Yep.
So what's your beef? and the thing is that and I'll tell everybody right here on public radio, I have right now probably about 120 readers a month. I have about 120 paid monthly subscribers. I charge $10 a month.
Yeah.
Do the math. I bring in about $1,200 a month on my Prophezine monthly salary. That's how much I make. Now, divide that. How many hours do you work a day, Josh? I know that I get up about 7. It's now 7:23 right now. I've been at it for 12 hours already. I've got to do some. I'm doing a Bible study and everything, so I'm going to do some work after that. So I'm probably not going to turn off my computer until about 9, 10 o'clock. Yep. Now, on average, I probably don't step away from this thing till about 8:30 or so. Now, am I at this 100% of the day? No. I go out with my wife to lunch, or we'll do something, or we'll go shopping, But I am working easily 10-hour days, 12-hour days, and I'm sure you are too.
Yep.
Now, let's do a little math here, and this is what people don't do. So 1,200, clear. So 10, let's just say 10 times 6, that's 60 hours a week, times 4 is 240 hours a week. Let's remember that number, 240 hours a week. Mm-hmm. So $1,200 is what I averagely bring in a month, divided by what, 260 did I say?
240.
Yeah, 240. Okay, excuse me. So 1,200 divided by 240 equals $5 an hour.
Yeah.
And now, on average, I really do. I probably put in 12, 14 hours a day, and I even work on Sundays.
Yeah.
There's just you probably do the same thing.
Yeah.
There's just you answer your emails. It's kind of you're addicted to it anyways. But so on average, we're probably earning about $375 to $425 an hour.
Yeah.
Now, all those people out there, how many of you are willing to do that?
Exactly.
So the next person who wants to gripe about me making a little bit of money, then sit in my seat here and do what we do, and then work for $375 to $450 an hour.
Yeah,
Will
no
you
kidding.
Do it?
Yeah.
Will they do it? No, they won't.
Oh, you got people working at McDonald's that want $15 an hour and stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Now, here's the plus side to that. Everything that I do behind my computer, everything that I write about, everything that I do, if I write about any product, any service, anything, I have now just created a tax write-off.
Right.
So in the long run, I've made money because my upfront money, I'm not making much. $1,200 a month isn't much, on all honesty. And then also, it takes faith to be in this business.
Oh, yeah.
God, I tell I've learned. God, I'm the director of operations. God is the chief financial operator or
Amen.
Chief financial officer. So when I start getting into God's business and saying, hey, chief, being the chief financial officer, I always muck things up. But as long as I stay focused on being the director of operations, things run smooth. And so let God worry about his deal, and you worry about your deal. And as long as you've got that relationship, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, he will direct your path, and you will do well. Now, are we rich? No, we're not. We are not rich. There's times that, we scrape by paying rent and all this other stuff. But you know what? I live in Panama, and you should see the backyard view that I have of the mountains.
I bet.
And it's springtime here 365 days a year. And I'm greatly blessed. I have a wonderful church down here and everything. And so, we've got a very blessed life. And because we've trusted God, we've allowed God to direct our paths and everything. And no, some of you heard Lizzie, he just ran away from America. No, I didn't. God brought me here with a purpose.
Yeah.
It's amazing the things that we are doing here, and we're seeing lives change, and we're winning people to the Lord. We're in America. I can't win people to the Lord anymore. They don't want to listen.
Yeah.
They don't care about God anymore. In fact, they hate God.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm getting way off topic, dude, and I'm sorry. And
no.
I don't mean to be preaching and all this other stuff.
That's what the show is for. That's what we're here for. But no, that's.
But
totally,
I'm here because I want to help people. I truly do. I want people to how do they get out of this stinking? A lot of people today are like rats running on that rat wheel, and you see a rat, and they're running on that rat wheel going nowhere, but they're going as fast as they can, and they're going nowhere. And it gets old, and after a while you lose your passion for life.
Yeah.
And when you lose your passion for life, believe it or not, you start losing your passion to share the gospel and to work God's works. Yep. And so here's something that people can do, and you can do this too, Josh. I encourage everybody to do it. Me and Tracy do it every once in a while. I will run what's called a latte factor about every 90 days. I want to know where I am. I want to know where my money's going. I want to know where I'm spending. And then once I know what everything's going, where can I make cuts? And because again, money saved, Ray rule number 2. Money saved is money earned.
Right.
Rule number 1, you're in the business for tax write-offs, not to make money. You're in the business for tax write-offs. You can remember those 2 rules, you're doing good. And in fact, top all that is rule number 1, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. That's rule number 1.
Absolutely.
But latte factor, this is something that everybody can do, and I really encourage them to do. It takes a little bit of work, but save every receipt, every bill, every little whatever you have for a whole month. And then you and your wife sit down at the kitchen table and look at every single thing. Now, you can do a fancy Excel spreadsheet, or you can do things on paper. But, okay, this month I bought a pack of gum for 25 cents. Okay, I bought, a can of Coke. I bought, Starbucks. I bought, McDonald's for lunch. I bought, and what you do is you start looking at all the things you bought and start naming these things off. Okay, lattes, and you start putting little check marks by them. A $3.50. Well, how much are they in Starbucks now? They're what, $5.75? Oh, $5.75 latte.
Yeah, easily $7-8. Yeah.
Okay, now $7-8. Okay, we don't have Starbucks down here in Panama, folks. So we actually have the best coffee in the world, though.
Oh, really, I bet.
Cheap. And we actually do. Where I live here is called Boquete, Panama. We literally grow the best coffee in the entire world. It's called Geisha. Folks, Google Geisha coffee and then Google how much it is per pound. You will be blown away.
That's amazing.
The bad stuff is $40 a pound. The good stuff is $2.25 a pound and up.
Oh, wow.
So it's amazing when the coffee buyers, we get coffee buyers from all over the world down here, Japan, Australia, Germany, France, you name it. They all come here and inundate Boquete for a whole week, going coffee crazy. But
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm a big, I love coffee.
Dude, I'm addicted. You
Same
can't
here.
live down here and not be addicted. This is like the land of coffee.
That's
anyways,
awesome.
But anyways, Starbucks coffee. So you write down how many Starbucks coffees do you write, and actually do it for a week. Don't even do it for a whole month. Just do it for a week. But look at how many packs of gum you buy. How many lattes do you buy? How many Burger Kings do you buy? How many, how much this? How much that? Look at everything. How much gas do you put into your car? How much, I don't know. You start looking at your receipts and save your receipts for entire week and be religious about it. And then you and your wife sit down and write down every single little thing that you spend. Then once you start looking at it, it's like, oh my gosh, I spent $45 on stinking Starbucks lattes for an entire week. Do you need do you need all those lattes?
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay. Now, here's the key. A lot of people go overboard and say, okay, I'm cutting out Starbucks completely. No, what you do is you say, okay, you know what? When I do something good, if I do something at work or I treat my wife right or whatever, make the latte your reward.
Right.
And only do it once a week. So now, instead of spending $45, you're only spending $7. That's $37 that you now can put in your pocket. So put $37 in your plus column. Money saved. So that's $37 you save that week. Okay, bubble gum. Well, I don't really need this bubble gum. It's a packet. It's $1 a day because I'm a constant habitual chewer of gum. And, so maybe I can cut down my bubble gum habit and I'll just buy 1 pack a week. And again, use it as a reward. Make it something special. So I'll get to chew some bubble yummy, whatever it is, hubba bubba bubble gum, and enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
And that's the other key. A lot of people, we are so fast paced and everything, we don't sit back and enjoy stuff anymore.
Right.
It's slam it down, drink it up, chew, 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 and make that latte an experience, and say, self, I am going to sit here and I am going to force myself to drink this latte for a half hour. And I am going to sit here and look out this window and watch the world go by and watch the people. And I will sit here and drink this latte for a half hour and do it. And then the next day you get your Hubba Bubba bubble gum out and you said, I am going to sit here for 7 minutes and enjoy this bubble gum. And I will blow 15 bubbles. And I will sit here and enjoy it. And so you're rewarding yourself for these things.
Right.
So not only you're saving money, you're seeing your blood pressure start to come down because you're actually stopping and pausing for life. But we've got $37 saved in lattes. We've now also got $6 saved because we're only buying 1 pack a week. We were buying 7, 1 a day. So we now got $6. So we're now up to what? And I'm horrible at math.
I am too.
37 plus 6 equals. We are now at $43.
Wow.
Holy mackerel. And that's just 2 things.
Yeah.
Now, do we need to go out to Burger King, McDonald's, and wherever else every day for lunch? No, we don't. Why don't we brown bag it?
Yeah.
In fact, why don't we buy veggies and some things that will actually help us reduce our weight?
Yeah.
And take that to lunch. And so on average, a McDonald's meal, I think, costs something, let's just call it, what, $8 now?
Probably.
Is an average McDonald's meal for lunch. So, 8 times 5 is $40. Let's, again, same thing. We're not going to cut it out entirely. Let's make it something special. So we have a latte once a week for as a reward and something special. We have our Hubba Bubba bubble gum once a week for something special. Now we're going to have our McDonald's once a week for something special. And so 8 times 5 is $40. And so let's, again, pull one off and call it $32. So I now add $32 plus 32. We are now up to $75 of savings.
Wow.
And Monday, we get to have our latte and relax for a half hour and contemplate. Tuesday, we get to have our Hubba Bubba bubble gum and contemplate. Wednesday, we get to have our Big Mac and fries and apple pie. And let's say we make ourselves sit and eat that for 40 minutes. So we get to have our do that in world and contemplate. So you see what I'm saying here. Look at all these things that you spend. And if we stop doing that, and then we also stop to smell the roses, we've only done 3 days of stuff, and we've only done 3 items, and we've saved $75 so far.
Wow.
Now, 4 times 75 times 4 equals, that's $300 a month that we saved.
It's amazing.
What can you do with $300?
Yeah, it'd help pay the bills.
Yeah, wouldn't it? So this is called the latte factor. And if you would just take the time to save every stinking receipt that you do for an entire week, you would be amazed at money that you can find and money you can save. And then start learning to take those pauses and rewards in life and make something special about it again. Instead of just getting on that rat race and letting that rat race just drive you crazy. And you're letting life pass you by. Whereas on Monday, you can sit for that half hour, enjoy life, enjoying that latte, really taste the flavor. I mean, it's amazing to me now. I'll sit and stop and actually have a cup of coffee on my back porch. I don't watch the sun come up. And I'm tasting my coffee. I am enjoying my coffee. I am enjoying God's beauty in front of me. I mean, you should see my backyard view. I got a view of the mountains, and the sun comes up every morning. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Wow.
But these are things you've got to people got to start learning to slow down, because when you slow down, one, your health gets better.
Yeah.
Two, you save money. And you know, start looking at these things, and so you're able to make these do these things and save this money. I mean, that's $300, and we've just talked about 3 things that people can do. If people would really serious look at this latte factor, you could literally probably pull out $1,500 to $2,000 a month. Believe it or not. You know, it's amazing how much money just goes through our fingers and we don't even think about it.
Wow.
So
Yeah. That is absolutely fascinating and vital, and man, there's so much stuff that I'm already gonna I'm already gonna be applying to my life. All right, we are talking with Ray Gano about financial preparedness from his book Survive the Coming Storm: A Poor Man's Guide to Preserving Your Wealth in an Economic Collapse. Right now, we're going to go to our correspondent Doc Marquis, who has some fascinating information pertaining to some of his recent research. When we come back, more with Ray Gano. So stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, and it's Doc Marquis this week with the Sharpening Report. I'm in lieu of Josh Peck right now, and I wanted to speak to my brothers and sisters out there, and I wanted to speak out to everyone, actually, about a bit of a hush-hush project I've been working on for a number of years. And recently, I have come across some information that, if it proves to be correct, could change a lot of people's perspective as to whether or not the Word of God is actually that, the actual Word of God. I can't say the areas I've been working in right now, but I can tell you that they are related to, shall we say, giants of the ancient world. Well, at least we thought giants were just related to the ancient areas of Canaan, Göbekli Tepe, Neftali Kori, places like that. No, we find out from the Holy Scriptures that the giants themselves were spread about throughout the world, which means, technically speaking, we could find giants in our own backyard. And it's not that it hasn't happened before. It's just that the Smithsonian Institute of America has done a world-class job of keeping it quiet, especially when they find any evidence of giants themselves. There have been newspaper articles in which the Smithsonian had admitted that they themselves had destroyed many, many of the bones of the giants in the past. So you can't help but wonder, why would they want to do something like that unless, and the only thing that makes sense to me, is that they don't want people to know the truth when it comes to the Bible, that the Word of God is true and that we need to follow the edicts of God and not the edicts of man. That being said, I have recently come across some evidence that leads me to believe that I'm on the right track. I will be going out to various areas again, hopefully this year, if not next year when the weather's more conducive. And I will once again continue to search for what I believe will be an ultimate cache of skeletal remains of these ancient giants. I already have footage of, shall we say, occult or demonic activity in the areas I have been exploring, and that's not unusual. If any of you folks out there have seen DVD 9 and 10 in my Secrets of the Illuminati series, you'll understand what I'm talking about. In DVDs 9 and 10, they're called Aliens, Fallen Angels, or Antichrist. I can show you a direct connection between ancient stone circles and giants. Even more so, I can take and extrapolate from those stone circles crop circles that are formed in occult symbols. Now, why would you find occult crop circles near stone circles? Well, that's easy. because it was at these ancient megalithic structures that the high priests of the Celtic tribes, known as Druids, were practicing the art of not just the occult, but also human sacrifice. Underneath Stonehenge alone, archaeologists have unearthed more than 4,000 human skeletal remains, and that's a small stone circle. The one in Avesbury is more than a mile in circumference. And if the newly discovered one at the Durrington Wall, if the measurements are correct, that's a mega stone circle. It would have to be more than 2 miles in circumference. And you can think how many remnants of bones and people's skeletons must be under something like that. But what's interesting is because that these occult ceremonies involve not just the spilling of millions and millions and millions of gallons of human blood throughout the British Isles, but these same Druid priests were summoning up demonic forces. And I have come across evidence, and I mean absolute sound evidence, that will prove one way or the other that I am correct. I've been working on this for a number of years, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully I will be able to give you an update soon. Right now I'm still waiting to go out to these areas again, but if I can't do it this year, I will be doing it next year. Most of the time, ladies and gentlemen, it just comes down to how much money do you have? Can you, go out and bring out all the camera equipment and everything else? But right now, as it stands, I'm just looking for a couple more pieces of evidence. And if it's there, ladies and gentlemen, I will be able to make a world announcement as to the truth behind giants. This is Doc Marquis, and I want to thank every single person for tuning in to The Sharpening. Each of you have a great night of it.
All right, a big thank you to Doc Marquis for sharing that with us. Definitely eye-opening stuff. And speaking of eye-opening, we're talking with Ray Gano about financial preparedness. Ray, you make a lot of excellent points in your book, and you've made so many throughout the show. There's another point in your book that I wanted to get into. You have this principle that cash is king. What exactly do you mean by that?
Cash is king, meaning again, I'm a history person, and again, we look back at Ecclesiastes, and history is cyclical, not linear. So, looking back at the Weimar Republic, I'm sure that you've looked at pictures and you saw these like people burning wads of cash in there, right, because it was actually cheaper to burn cash than to buy wood. Or you've seen these guys with like wheelbarrows full of money and everything.
Yeah.
Or you'll see there's another one where pictures where you saw this lady wallpapering her walls with the money, or kids playing blocks with stacks of money. No matter what, that money was severely hyperinflated. They were up to quadrillion marks. They actually had something a one quadrillion mark bill. I mean, wow. Outrageous. And I don't even know how many zeros a quadrillion has, but you know what? They were still using that paper stuff to buy food and do business and everything like that. And so I say cash is king. A lot of people think that, oh, no, financial collapse, and the next day everybody's going to be bartering gold and silver and bullets and this, that, and the other. No. It takes time over that to do that. But no matter what, even in Argentina, they're still using the Argentinian, oh gosh, what is it, the peso now or whatever they're using. But they still use that paper currency because that is people are so used to using that as the medium of exchange that they're going to continue using it no matter what. So even though your dollar is worth, something to wipe your fanny with, or, use as wallpaper or burn in your fireplace, it is still being used as a medium of exchange. And this is something, too, that people need to understand. A medium of exchange versus a medium of wealth. A medium of wealth is something that will retain its monetary value no matter what. So, for example, gold and silver is a medium of wealth. Gold and silver, precious metals throughout history. 1 silver ounce has always bought a middle-income businessman a new tunic, a new belt, some good sandals, some nice underwear, and throughout the ages, 1 ounce of gold has always bought a businessman's suit with a complete suit. Hat, clothes, pants, shoes, socks, underwear, nice belt, yada, yada, yada. Today, the gold, I think what gold is sitting at, something like, let me actually bring it up here so I don't make myself look ignorant. Gold is sitting at right now $1,129, which, if you really think about it, is the price of a decent businessman's suit.
Yeah.
Not something cheap you buy down at Walmart or anything. This is a nice businessman that you, as a middle income earner, would wear to work.
Yeah.
And so $1,129. And that 1 ounce of gold has always been that same standard. And back in Greece, that's what they bought: a tunic, belt, shoes, this, that, and the other. Today, same thing: suit, shirt, tie, underwear, socks, nice shoes, belt. That same thing will buy a good, well-made businessman suit. Other thing, a ½ ounce of gold will always buy you a good weapon.
Okay.
And this is a weapon to protect yourself.
Yeah.
½ ounce. So what's a ½ ounce of gold? That's we're looking at, let's call it $575. How much is a Glock 19 right now? A Glock 19 runs about $475.
Okay.
A Beretta maybe run you about $600. So in and around there for ½ ounce of gold will buy you a good weapon. Back in the olden days, it bought you a good sword, not a cheapie, not some Saturday night special sword, but a decent sword that you could protect yourself and do battle with. Same thing today. Still same hold. For a ½ ounce of gold, you can buy yourself a good weapon. For 40 ounces of gold, you will always be able to buy a good entry-level home. No matter what. 40 ounces of gold, no matter what, will buy you an entry-level home. 5 ounces of gold will buy you a car.
Wow.
And so these are historic norms, or even 5 ounces of gold would buy you a good Calistoga wagon back in the Western days. So it's gold and silver. What people need to understand is God's ordained money system.
Right.
So since this is God ordained, it will never change. It will never rust, which there's some people think out there that's going to happen. If money rusts, if gold and silver rusts, then God is a liar.
Right.
God is, because in Deuteronomy or Leviticus, it talks that weights and measures and gold and silver are God's ordained money system. But so if that happens and all of a sudden it rusts and everything is no longer God's ordained money system, therefore God is a liar.
Right.
God doesn't lie. Titus 1. But these are things. Now here's another thing: silver. 1 ounce of silver is usually an average man's wage, not a middle income man, your average man,
Okay.
your laborer, something like that. So a day laborer and everything is an average. So today's $15 an hour. So $15 is what silver's sitting at. Now with today's weirdness going on, and they're earning $15 an hour at McDonald's, which is completely inflated. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But your average day laborer, your average, McDonald's job and everything, a person would probably earn $15, $20 a day.
Right.
Again, so we're kind of same in that same line. A gallon of gas is 1/4 of an ounce of silver, or 25 cents. And it's always staying the same. So let's see, 4, so clear, let me calculate, 15 divided by 4 equals, that's 3.75. How much is a gallon of gas in and around that?
Yeah, like what, $2-3, something like that?
Yeah. So, so maybe it's because of fracking and all that other junk, oil prices are down. But on average, a gallon of gas is 3.75. On average, a loaf of bread is 1/10 of an ounce, or 1 dime. And again, how much is a loaf of bread? So 1/10, it's $1.50. So how much is a loaf of bread? About that, $1.50.
Yeah. Wow.
So these are historic norms that have always been the same throughout history. So what this tells us is that the gold and silver is a medium of wealth. These things really don't change. What does change is the medium of exchange, or these paper things that we call bills or dollar bills.
Right.
Those change because that's a medium of exchange. Medium of wealth usually doesn't change. Other things that are mediums of wealth, livestock. A cow is, I forget what it is worth, but livestock are worth a lot. Cows are worth something, goats are worth something, chickens are worth something, pigeons are worth something. And again, these are biblical denominations. And Abraham was filthy rich because he had huge herds of livestock,
right,
and land also. So land is another wealth preservation tool. But there's a lot of other things out there that will help you preserve your wealth. And so these are things that, you need to start looking at medium of wealth versus medium of exchange. And you want to start measuring things in medium of wealth, not medium of exchange. Why? Because the dollar constantly fluctuates.
Yeah.
Today, the dollar index, I don't know what it is. Let's look here real quick. Something I keep an eye on all the time is the dollar index. Today, the dollar index is sitting at 94.57. The dollar index is a good indicator, and it's on an upswing too. The dollar index is a good indicator for people to keep an eye on how strong is our dollar, what is happening out there in the market and everything. Marketwatch.com is where I go for my dollar index, and they have it live, so you see what's happening right then and there. But I say that because when the dollar index starts dropping past 70 points, 70, then we are in the range where we can literally do a tailspin and fall out of control.
Oh, wow.
As long as we're over 70 points, we're doing pretty good. The last time I saw us down at 70 points was somewhere, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So right now we're actually doing pretty good. But the listeners, if you want to keep an eye on what's going on and how the economy is doing and everything like that, because things are so crazy and the media out there is just, they're telling a bunch of lies and all this other garbage. They're reporting, on all kinds of garbage. One of the few good things that you can watch and give yourself kind of an idea is the dollar index. So you were asking earlier on, how do you know when the dollar is dying? How can you see?
Yeah.
Keep an eye on the dollar index. And because if you see things are going bad and all of a sudden it's 94, 93, 92, 91, and we're now in the 80s, and then we're maybe down into the high 70s, and only like a week or two has passed, our economy is falling.
Wow.
And so when you see the economy start falling, one, you want to start pulling all your money out of the bank as fast as you can. You want to start buying gold, silver, this, that, and taking that money and putting it into commodities. And what I call, these are critical commodities or everyday items that you will use. For example, a great critical commodity is toothpaste. What you buy today, say a tube of toothpaste is $1. Well, when the economy has gone bad and everything like that, say you've bought 30 tubes of toothpaste, $30, great investment. But when the market dies and everything like that, you can then go around and turn that tube of toothpaste into $5 in a sense, and use it for a barter item or just sell it, and you've now made $4 in the plus.
Wow.
So you understand that?
Yeah.
Another critical commodity is toilet paper.
Yeah.
Everybody jokes about it, but it's true. If you bought a boatload of toilet paper, cases of toilet paper and everything, and let's just say you spent 50 cents a roll on your investment. You then take that and you can take it to the flea market, because by the time, if there's an economic collapse and things are going bad, flea markets and things like that are going to start popping up rather quickly.
Yeah.
So let's say we're 60 days into the economic collapse. Now you walk in there and you've got 5 rolls of toilet paper. Well, what's toilet paper selling for today? $10 a roll.
Wow.
Guess what? Your 75 or 50 cents has now greatly increased. So now you're walking around with $50 of 5 rolls of toilet paper.
Yeah.
So this is how commodities work, critical commodities. And so how you discover what are critical commodities is start keeping all the receipts to your grocery shopping or everyday monthly shopping. Start looking at these items that you cannot live without. Toilet paper, toothpaste, other items like that. If you can't live without them, do you think other people can live without them? Odds are no. So why not go down to the dollar store and buy, 30 tubes of Crest toothpaste?
Yeah.
You know what? They will not go to waste. Why? Because you got to brush your teeth anyways.
That's right.
So guess what? You're not going to be spending money on toothpaste again probably for 5 years.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? You now have an investment that if you need, you can take to the flea market and then sell and make a good profit on. That toothpaste is now a medium of wealth.
Absolutely.
Understand?
Yeah.
So, and your toilet paper is now a medium of wealth. When the poo hits the fan and the markets die and everything, you will be amazed what turns into a medium of wealth. Your thing that you've got to do is figure out what those mediums of wealth are now.
Yeah.
So that you can, start stocking up on those things now while they are still 50 cents, 75 cents, dollar, whatever. And because they're mediums of wealth that you use daily, you know what? So what? You buy 30 tubes of toothpaste. You're never going to have to buy toothpaste again.
Yeah.
Understand? Here, hold on one second. Sorry about that. My headset is saying that it's losing battery power. But so by all these things, you're creating mediums of wealth. One, you're going to use them all anyways. Now, as time goes on and inflation continues to grow and your dollar loses buying power, what is going to happen is that you're going to eventually those tubes of toothpaste, if you go to replace them and things, here, hold on again. If you have to go buy those tubes of toothpaste, maybe now you got to start paying $2 a tube. Right. Whereas because you thought ahead of time and you only bought them at $1 a tube, in the long run, now you've just saved money. Money saved, money earned. So to replace that tube of toothpaste, it's now going to cost you $2 instead of $1. So do you see what you're because you thought ahead and you're stocking up on toothpaste, you in the long run are not spending $2, and so that's money that you can now use somewhere else. Yeah. That $2 can get pushed over into the asset fund of money that I don't have to spend. That toilet paper gets pushed over into the asset fund because that's money you don't have to spend again. You've got toilet paper. You've got toothpaste. What are other things that you can use every day that other people would use every day that would turn into what I call a critical commodity? Right. And by buying those things now, you're going to use them anyways. And it's like survival food. That's like food. That's why I say look at things as an investment. Don't buy, this is where everything you buy, make it an investment. Food is an investment. Toothpaste is an investment. Toilet paper is an investment. Now I know all these sound funny and weird and everything like that. But when, for example, I earlier on the show, I told you that a rice famine is coming. Yeah. We are already getting reports on that here in Panama. I'm reading about reports in Asia and everything. Because of El Nino has been mucking with everything and either getting too much rain or not enough rain, the rice yields are really severely down this year. And rice harvests are really down. So what you can do now as a form of investment is go down and buy 60 pounds of rice. You'll probably end up spending $60 and then store it away. Rice does not go bad. It will stay forever. So put them in 5-gallon buckets or whatever you want to do. But the nice thing is when the rice famine happens and it's now selling for $5 a pound instead of $1 a pound, guess what? If you wanted and things are really bad, you could even go sell some of your rice if you want to. And you've now made money on that. But you're not having to spend $5 a pound because you thought ahead and you bought it at $1 a pound, thus saving that money that you would have spent anyways. Is this making sense
Yeah.
to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so what you're doing is you're creating your own hedge against inflation. And so by buying now, you're buying low, and instead of having to buy at the high point, you're buying at the low point, and you're sitting on it. These are things that you're going to use. And this is, again, why I love survival food. Survival food, the Thrive stuff, it tastes great and everything. But because it's got a 25-year shelf life, I'm able to buy in bulk and buy at a low price. And it's going to sit on my shelves for as long as I need. I'm 54 years old. And so 25 years from now, if I live that long and everything, which I probably will, but, hey, I can still pop that can open and it's still good.
Yeah.
I can still eat it.
That's
so
awesome.
That was a wise investment, you see?
Yeah.
So by buying these things and getting these things now while they're still at a low price, you're going to use them anyways. You're going to save money in the long run. So let's say you bought food, you bought toothpaste, you bought toilet paper, you've identified some other things as critical commodities, and you've stocked up on these things. Well, 6 months from now, you don't have to buy them, but the money that you would have to spend if you bought them is now saved, and you can now apply that money to somewhere else.
Yeah.
For whatever other reason, or, maybe creating another cash flow stream, creating another business, creating, whatever. I'm always creating little businesses, and some fly, some don't. But you know what? I'm doing it. I'm creating cash flow streams. Now, if they don't produce right now, I keep pushing at them and everything, and keep feeding them and doing stuff with them. For example, here's a crazy business that I do, and actually it was a really good tax write-off too. Is I'm Scottish. I'm from Scottish heritage and everything, and I enjoy wearing kilts.
Uh-huh.
Well, I've got a website. I've got a Facebook page. I think I have like 900 and something people on my Facebook page, and it's called Real Men Wear Kilts.
Oh yeah,
well,
I'm on there. I'm on there.
We talk about kilts, and we do this. We post pictures of ourselves in kilts and all this other stuff and everything. I have a blogger page called Real Men Wear Kilts, and I write about kilts and everything like that. Well, you know what? That's one of my funky little businesses that I got, but because I write about my kilts and I promote kilts and I promote companies and everything like that, everything that I have regarding a kilt, guess what? It's a tax write-off.
Nice.
And so guess what? I now have my kilts kind of for free.
That's awesome.
So and this is why I say, like with Mark Twain, he said, make your vacation your vacation your vocation, and you never work a day in your life. Find things that you love and that you're passionate about. And when you're passionate about them, then you've figured out then how can you make money at it. And the way that I make money at it is I write about it. I blog about it. I make a Facebook group about it. I get on Amazon and find products and advertise them. So, there's tons of cash flow streams out there for you to create. You've just got to sit down and just kind of do a Ben Franklin list of pros and cons or this and that, and figure out what do you love. One, okay, here I'm going to teach you how to figure out your next home-based business.
Yeah.
Sit down, you and your wife, and what you do is in one column, write down every skill that you've got. Do you speak English? Yes. Can you use the computer? Yes. Can you use Windows? Yes. Can you use a Macintosh? Yes. Can you use MS Word? Yes. Can you use Netscape? Yes. Firefox? Yes. I mean, just every minuscule skill that you can think of. I mean, it does. Are you a professional nose picker? Yes. I mean, it doesn't matter. Then what you do is you then write down the things that you love and that you're passionate about. I'm passionate about writing. I'm passionate about knives. I'm passionate about kilts. I'm passionate about swords. I'm passionate, yada, 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 yada. And, I'm passionate about picking my nose. Oh, hey, here's a match. Professional nose picker and picking my nose. That's a match. How can I make a business out of it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's comical and everything, but what you do is when you have these two lists, you start looking at each other. And remember in like second grade, you did these, match these things. Cat plus hat, and and you draw a little line to it. Do the same thing. Start looking for those matches, and you go, hey, this is something that I'm skilled at it and I'm passionate about it. Maybe I can figure out how I can make a business about it. And then what's even better is that you and your wife then sit down these things, write about what all your combined skills as husband and wife is, and then write down what you and your wife are passionate about. And then see what sort of business can you guys together work at that you both are skilled at and passionate about. And when two people like you and your wife are working together at a business, you have now created a force that is incredible. And because you're passionate about it and you will get up in the morning every day and it'll drive you and everything, you guys will go far. Yeah. So start doing those sort of things. But these are ways to discover your cash flow streams, because a lot of people say, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? You were talking early on about how you did some MLMs and they were absolutely disastrous. Well, it's not the MLM's fault, to be honest. Right. There's a lot of people that, oh wow, MLMs are pyramid schemes and this and that and everything. What happened is that you did not have the right business for you. Yeah. You bought into some hype that someone hyped you about. Yep. And it didn't fit into your little world. That's okay. Well, what you can do is there's tons of businesses, there's tons of MLMs, and why I like MLMs is because they already have a business structure there. Yeah. And I've been in enough MLMs that I just tell my upline, like, listen, here's what I want to do, here's what I want to say, here's what will this fit into my everyday routine of me blogging and writing and working on the internet and everything? If it will, cool. Now, I don't do meetings, I don't go to hype sessions, I don't go to conventions. I'm all about the money. So you teach me how to make my money, and then we will be in a happy relationship. So as long as I don't do meetings and I don't have to buy into the hype or anything like that, we're fine. Because again, my goal is not to become a millionaire. Yeah. My goal is to create a cash flow stream. And so I don't care how much my cash flow stream makes in the beginning. Because once my cash flow stream is producing income, I can then start nurturing that cash flow stream so it starts making more. Yeah. Understand? Yeah. So then, and now here's the wonderful thing, Josh, is that let's say I've got 15 businesses, and let's just talk about me and my swords and kilts and this and that and everything like that. Well, and prophesying. I love prophecy. I'm passionate about Bible prophecy, world events, and all this other stuff. It's what drives me. Yeah. Everything that I do is kind of a spin-off of prophecy. But there's days that maybe I don't want to write about or research Bible prophecy and world events. I mean, I'm sure there's days that you're, oh man, I got to sit here and research this. Oh yeah. Or, oh man, I got to write this book. You're just not into it. Yep. But when you have multiple cash flow streams, I can say, you know what? I am taking a day off today from prophesying, and I am going to go start working on kilts, or I am going to start working on swords or knives, and I'm going to write a review about my new Musashi 1060 differentially hardened steel katana. And so you do that. And you know what? Now, interestingly enough, I did a video on my Musashi katana. It's way up there in the views, man. It's one of the top, Musashi videos out there. Nice. It's one of these stupid reviews I did on YouTube because I felt like taking a day off from prophesying or whatever I was doing. I forget. But when you have those sort of options, then I was passionate in my video, and you can see that. And so then the next day maybe I want to write about one of my kilts or something. Or I want to write about Thrive Foods, about survival food and everything. Or I want to, when you have multiple cash flow streams like this, your passion level always stays high. Yeah. And so you're always giving 100%. And when you're giving 100%, the people see it in your writing, they hear it in your voice, they know, and so there's days where I don't really feel like maybe working on prophecy or something, so I'll go work on one of these other things. No matter what, I'm working and growing my cash flow streams. So I have opportunity and choices so that, I'm happy no matter what. So if I don't want to work on prophecy, okay, I could force myself to work on prophecy and not be happy in a sense. Right. But why not take the day off and go work on my sword stuff? Yeah. Or write about a sword. I'm happy happy. So you know what? It's a win-win situation. No matter what, I'm working, making money, growing my cash flow streams, and I'm happy.
That's
How many
awesome.
people out there can say that?
Yeah, no kidding.
It's so easy to do. It's so easy to do, but so many people are actually afraid to do it. Why? Because they've bought in this whole idea that I must have a job. I must
Right.
have a job. Whereas if you work like crazy, like you and I do, we work like crazy.
Oh yeah.
We start, sooner or later, our efforts start to compound, and you know what? We start able to enjoy some of these things.
Yeah.
And start enjoying life and everything. We were talking about on the downtime, we were talking about your wife, and one of your dreams is to bring your wife home.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is a goal, and that's a great motivator. I mean, being honest, that was one of the motivators that me and my wife had too. I rejoiced like crazy the day that I was able to tell my wife to quit her job.
That's awesome.
And it was cool. Now I was still working for TSA and everything like that, but I was doing TSA and Prophecy and a couple other businesses at the same time.
Yeah.
But we were bringing in enough of cash flow that Tracy was able to quit her job and then homeschool the kids. And now, was I working my butt off? Yeah, I was. But you know what? I was doing it because I loved it, and I was passionate about all that. No, I wasn't passionate about TSA, but I was passionate about the other things, and I was able to do, bring in money. Eventually, once with prophesying and some of my other business endeavors and Tracy's stuff then, because she started, believe it or not, she started selling Avon, and we were making decent money with Avon, believe it or not, which is an MLM, but it's one of those MLMs that I support.
Yeah.
I think it's a good MLM. It's not for everybody, though.
But yeah, my wife actually used to sell Avon.
Yeah. What's wonderful about Avon, and here's the key, and this is how we looked at it, is that we were going to buy this stuff at Walmart anyways.
Right.
Deodorant, shampoo, soap, makeup, hairspray, perfume, yada, yada, yada. These are things you're going to buy at Walmart anyways, right? Yeah. So why spend the money at Walmart when you can buy it from yourself?
Yeah.
And when you buy it from yourself, you're going to make a little bit money back. So I'm buying stuff from my wife, and in turn, that's putting more change back into the family and helping her grow her business. And it's also more tax write-off stuff. So it's a win-win-win situation. So there's times where things like Avon being an MLM actually helps your family. Instead of sending money to Walmart, why not send your money to your own wife and buy from her? Because you're going to buy it anyways. You're going to buy it anyways. So buy it there and put money back into your pocket. And it helps grow her business, which in turn also creates more cash flow, also creates more tax write-offs. And these are things then that at the end of the year you can report and bring home a great tax refund. So we didn't do Avon for the let's grow the team and all this other stuff.
Right.
We actually did Avon because if we're going to buy this stuff, why don't? And it's kind of like with Thrive too.
Yeah.
We need to eat. So do I buy food from H-E-B and Walmart, or do I buy food from myself and put money back into my pocket?
Right.
It's a no-brainer if you really think about it. But a lot of people don't think about it. I'm going to buy deodorant, soap, makeup, perfume, cologne, all this other stuff anyway, so why not buy from myself instead of buying from Walmart? Put money back in my pocket. Again, money saved, money earned. And after a while, when you start saving all that, all of a sudden you got a nice chunk of change.
Yeah.
Heck, take the kids and you on a vacation somewhere.
Yeah.
7 years ago, I remember we got it was one of our first tax returns, and we worked our fannies off, and we were all home by that time. I want to say it was in 2005. Yeah, 2005. My goodness, 10 years ago.
Wow.
But yeah, 2005. And we worked like crazy. We did everything that we were supposed to do. We created cash flow streams, all this other stuff. We finally did our taxes and everything. And I want to say that we got something like $6,000 back and everything. And I said, what we need to do, I says, Tracy, here's what we need to do. I says, we can go off and spend this and do that and everything. I says, but we as a family, we have worked hard. this year. All the family, kids included, all of us have sacrificed. All of us have worked for this. Let's use this and go take a cruise.
Yeah.
Guess what? That's what we did.
That's awesome.
And we, all of us, we took a 7-day cruise out of Galveston. And folks, hey, I am all cruises are the greatest vacation package in the world. It cost us $500 per person. So our cruise cost us about $2,000 or $2,300, I forget. And it was a 7-day cruise. Everything's included. And we then did a bunch of free stuff. I mean, there's tons of stuff to do on the ship and all that other junk. But, you know, I found a beach. We went to Jamaica. I found a beach. We went to a beach, caught a taxi, go into the beach, hung out at the beach all day. Didn't spend anything. We didn't go on any of those ship tours or anything. So we went to then Grand Cayman after that. I found a company that would take us out and go do the Stingray excursion. And so saved money there. I didn't do a ship excursion. But no matter what, we still had the money to do all these. If we wanted to do a ship excursion, we could. We had the money. But I still being frugal and everything, we did all that. And I found the ships, you know, the Stingray tour. And then in Cozumel, we just walked around and visited the shops and everything like that. But anyways, we were able to reward ourselves because we worked hard for a year, and we were still able to bank some of that and put it in the bank.
Yeah.
And so not only were we able to you know, reward ourselves, we were able to bank some. We were able to again also do more in our preps and stuff. I think we bought a dehydrator that year. We bought our dehydrator that year. That's right. Our dehydrator is 10 years old. But so we did that too. And dehydrators are great too. That's another thing of money saved, money earned. Everything that we ate, anytime we had leftovers, I put them in the dehydrator and dehydrated it. And we always had stuff to pull back from, because otherwise you stuck the food in the refrigerator and it turns into a science experiment and, you know, boom, food wasted.
Yeah.
Food wasted is money wasted. Money wasted is money down the drain. So whereas if you invest in the dehydrator, and the dehydrator costs something like $200 or something, after a while that pays off for itself. And not only am I not spending as much money at the grocery store, and I'm reusing stuff that I've dehydrated. And you know, again, these are more tips on money saved, money earned. And you know, so all these things help. And so you have a little chunk of stuff here, a little chunk of stuff here, a little chunk of stuff here. You have cash flow coming in from Avon. You have cash flow coming in from Thrive. You have cash flow coming in from Prophecy. You have this, you have that. You do Google Ads. You have cash flow coming in from Google Ads.
Yeah.
I do Amazon. I have cash flow coming in from Amazon. So you can see that when you start looking for small amounts, and this is what people, if so many people start looking for the $1 million and the thousands of dollars and stuff, don't look for that. Look for the 5s and 10s and 20s to start cash flow. But if you have enough of these 5s, 10s, and 20s, all of a sudden start adding up to a lot. Yeah. And all of a sudden you have all this extra money a month. And if you can get the family involved and everything, then you can go do a cruise once a year or something. Pay the family back. And so these are things that, believe it or not, is how people during the Depression got through the Depression. And yeah, I mean, again, I'm not rich, not by a long shot or anything. We're very frugal. I can make a penny scream. But these are things that I do so that when something does come up, or there's something special that we want to do, or you know, if there's something Tracy wants, I now have a little bit of liquid funds that I can do that. Like the other day, we were walking around and Tracy saw this really cute anklet, and you know what? I had the cash. It was only $5, but you know what? I was able to do it and buy something nice for her. Nice. And she loves that. She was wearing it today, in fact. It's the little things that count. And if people can just understand, we're not chasing after the thousands of dollars. We're chasing after the 10s, 20s, maybe hundreds. And if you just keep things small like that, then it's amazing how all this stuff adds up really, really fast. And then once you start getting these cash flow streams going and settled and producing every month like clockwork, then you start growing them. And so maybe this one cash flow stream is only producing $25 a month. Well, work on it and nurture it and see what you can do to grow it so it starts earning $50 a month.
Yeah.
Get that one going, and then get another one going, and start working on it. But the key is make the cash flow stream produce monthly. And so if you set yourself a goal for $5 a month, peachy keen. It is now, that's $5 more than you had the month before.
Yeah.
So don't look for these big things that a lot of business, you see all these motivational speakers and all these books and other things talking about. Look for realistic solutions, realistic incomes. And then once you've gained those and you've been walking in those shoes for a while, then you can take it up a notch and start doing other things like that. So these are a lot of things that you can do. There's something in my book that I wanted to talk about that I don't know if we covered, but we touched upon it a little bit, is things that you buy as mediums of wealth.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about mediums of wealth. Another medium of wealth that I encourage people to do, and I talk about it in my book, is collecting. And
okay.
One of the things that I did, for example, I enjoyed toy collecting for the longest time, and so I know my Disney toys, I know a lot of comic book toys and everything. These are great other ways to create mediums of wealth. So we talk about mediums of wealth being toothpaste, toilet paper, whatever. But other mediums of wealth that you can create are things that bring pleasure to your life, collections. Some people collect Hot Wheels. I mean, it's amazing. If you can do some research on Hot Wheels and some of the first Hot Wheels out there, they go for $500s and hundreds of dollars, if not thousands.
Wow.
Some of the early editions. A first edition Barbie, believe it or not, a first edition Barbie easily goes for $10,000 plus. And the thing is you can still find these Barbies and these toys and everything out there. And so what's fun is going to flea markets looking for these toys, or garage sales and looking for these toys. You always hear about this person who hey, wow, I found this at the flea market or this garage sale, and yada, yada, yada. Believe it or not, these treasures are still out there. And if anything, these treasures will actually increase. Why? Baby boomers are dying, so these things are being sold off because they're the thing they held on to them. But two, they're downsizing. Baby boomers are downsizing, so they're going to be holding a lot of garage sales and everything too. They're moving out of these big houses in the next couple of years. They're not going to have the room. So there's chances that you may be able to get some of the toys that they played with when they were kids, but they've been holding on to them for the grandkids. Well, the grandkids are now kind of grown up and don't play with them anymore, but they still held on to them, and you can maybe find them at garage sales and stuff. Well, you can find say a 1940s vintage Mickey Mouse, pick it up for $20, but you know what? That thing is probably worth at least a couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
So there's treasure hunts that you can do. Gold and silver. I'm a big advocate of people buying used old wedding rings. Most old wedding rings are 14 karat gold plus, and just look for simple gold bands. I mean, the gold in them is that's gold.
Yeah.
That's something you can barter with in hard times. Use it to barter with and everything. It's gold. Silver, same thing. You can go out. I mean, there's a lot of people that have these coin collections or a bag of dimes. It's amazing. You'll go and they'll have a jar of Indian head dimes. Indian head dimes are 90% silver. And,
oh, wow.
And a lot of times you'll see a baby food jar of dimes or pennies or quarters or something, and they're at a garage sale. Hey, how much for the dimes? Well, face value. Okay, so how many dimes do you got here? Oh, I think I've got like 50 dimes. So okay, so what? $5 here, $5 for this jar of dimes. Okay, cool, boom. But what is the silver value at it? Today's silver is $15 an ounce. So 10 dimes is 1 ounce, roughly. So 10 dimes is $15. So you have how many dimes we did? $5. So 5 times 15. 5, 10, 10, 20. Let me whip out my calculator here. My math is horrible. So 15 times 5, just roughly, that's $75 that you made right there.
Nice.
you know. So these are things that people can do. Start discovering a collection that maybe you and your wife can get involved in.
Yeah.
Toys, painting, artworks. Oh gosh, what are some of the other things? Scotch. Here's one. Yeah, here's one. It's interesting. I was doing research on wine and everything as an investment, and wine is a horrible investment actually, but it's amazing to me. Here's a tip. You know, I take it you don't drink Scotch. If you don't drink Scotch, this is great, because right now Johnny Walker is reproducing what's called Johnny Walker Green Label.
Okay.
Johnny Walker Green Label has a huge following globally. Once Johnny Walker, they're producing it this year only, and because they stopped producing it in 2012. And when I was doing the research, after 2012, when all the supplies kind of dried up, a bottle of Johnny Walker was going for $175 to $225 a bottle.
Oh.
Regularly, it sells for about $40. So,
okay.
But because they're doing a special anniversary this year, 2015, you can buy cases of Johnny Walker Green Label, and for the average price, $40 a bottle. So, you know, $35, $40, $50 a bottle, whatever it is in your area and everything. But since you don't drink Scotch, what you do is buy a couple cases, sit on it, and if you can wait on it for like 10 years and so, and just let it sit there in your garage and everything, or in your closet or wherever you want to keep it, you know, keep it where you're comfortable. Scotch likes where you're comfortable. So if it's before you're comfortable, the Scotch will stay fine. But I'm saying all this because in 10 years or so, it's amazing to look at some of these Scotch prices. You probably sell that bottle of Scotch for $300, $400, $500 per bottle then.
Wow.
And all you did is you invested in a bunch of Scotch, which you don't drink anyways, and then you sell it at auction.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't believe. Get on the internet; it's amazing. I'm blown away. And this is why I included it in my book. The Scotch auctions. Scotch is the Scotch. There's actually a stock market, mutual fund sort of thing that is all on Scotch, and it has performed like 500% better than the Dow Industrial Average.
Wow.
And I was blown away. This is just stinking Scotch, but these are things that you can start buying. Scotch is a medium of exchange if you know what you're buying. But I'm giving your readers and listeners a tip. Johnny Walker Green Label is a great thing. It's still available right now. They're doing a special run, and then once 2015 is over, they will no longer produce Johnny Walker Green Label, from what I understand, ever again.
Wow.
So unless they do a special run here and there, but odds are they'll never produce it again for another X amount of years. And the following for Johnny Walker Green Label is insane. and so just in a matter of 5 years, you can probably sell those bottles that you got for at least $250, $300 a bottle. But if you wait on them and sit on them even longer, you can probably send your grandkids to college.
That's amazing.
So yeah, but it's like the toothpaste. You just buy bunches of toothpaste and sit on it. You buy wads of toilet paper and sit on it. You buy a bunch of Hot Wheels and sit on it. I think in my book I talk about a certain toy right now that you can buy on Amazon, and they're going for like something $25 or $30 a toy. And I've pegged it as a toy to sit on. You know, buy it now, stick it in your closet, and forget about it. And in 10, 15 years, you'll be able to probably sell it for $150, $200 mint in box. But there's a lot of examples like that. Pipe tobacco, because there's some. As a Christian, I don't agree with vice or anything like that, but like
right.
it or not, it's there.
Yeah.
But pipe tobacco is a great investment versus, because everybody says, hey, buy cigarettes and everything like that. Yeah, you can, but, you know, the cigarettes that you buy will probably last 2 to 3 years tops.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't be bartering cigarettes and everything. But one thing that is meant to last a long time is pipe tobacco.
Right.
And in my book, I forget what I mentioned, but there was some pipe tobacco that was auctioned off at like $60 for a tin.
Wow.
A tin of pipe tobacco was like 1 ounce or 2 ounces of pipe tobacco, and it's from 1960. and someone bought it for $600.
Nice.
So buying tins of pipe tobacco. I mean, if anything, if hard times hit and when all these nicotine fiends are needing their nicotine, you know, okay, you bought that tin of Prince Albert for what, $5? Okay, during the hard time and everything, hey, I got a can of tin out, you know, Prince Albert here. You can have 20 pipe loads with it and smoke for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, I'll sell it to you for $50. Do you think the nicotine addict wouldn't buy it?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you've just quadrupled your money. So things like that is, you know, and people are, oh, wow, you're being a stumbling. No, I'm not. They're going to buy it anyways.
Yeah.
So, you know, I want to make money. And it sounds cold and everything like that. And I know there's people out there that are probably disagreeing with me and I'm contributing to somebody's sin and everything like that. Thing is, they're going to do it anyways. They're addicted.
Yeah.
So I feed the addiction and everything, and I don't mind doing cigarettes and stuff because there's tons of people who do it. But anyways, these are things that are mediums of wealth.
Absolutely.
And these are things that you can buy right now. You can go down and buy a tin of pipe tobacco for $3.75, and so stick it in your closet. You know, in 2 weeks, buy another tin of pipe of tobacco. Stick it in your closet. You buy these things in small increments. Other things that I'm looking at here right now, interesting, is a company I'm looking at getting involved in where you actually can buy grams of gold, because a lot of times people can't afford gold or anything, because there's it's what $1,100 right now for an ounce of gold.
Wow.
But you can afford a gram of gold. I think a gram of gold is going something for like 55 something an ounce. I mean, for a gram. Now, problem with gold is that you can't take it down to your stop and rob, fill up your tank, get some gas, buy a loaf of bread, you know, a 6-pack of Coke or whatever, a Slurpee and all that, and then expect the proper change. But with a gram of gold, you can. And so how many people, you know, because a gram of gold is worth, like, say, $50. You know, you can fill up your car, you know, get some Twinkies, some Coke, some Slurpee, some loaf of bread, chips, this and that, blah, 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 and say, hey, dude, I got a gram of gold. This is worth $50. You take it? Yeah. Okay, boom, deal done. So, you know, getting small increments of gold is also another way of building your wealth and everything, because, again, gold and silver never go bad. But anybody out there is interested in this gold buying thing, contact me. I'll be glad to tell you more about it. I'm just now researching it, and I'm kind of excited about what I'm seeing. This is a company out of Germany, and I like what they're doing, and they really got their head on straight. So, like I said, I'm still researching and everything, but I'm all about precious metals. I'm all about preserving my wealth and everything. And this, for me, is an affordable way. Because I cannot afford going out and spending a whole ounce of gold. I don't have the money, but I do have $50.
Right.
And so I can, everything how the poor man does it, and this is why I called it the poor man's guide. We do it in small increments. We do it in you know, you buy something here for $5. You buy something here for $10. You buy something there for $3. You know, toothpaste for $1. You buy these things and then you just sit on them. I mean, like it or not, you buy things that you're going to use. So these are things you're going to use anyways. So if anything, you're saving money. But in the long run, these are things, too, that you can turn around when hard times hit. And like it or not, hard times will hit. It's inevitable. So, you know, you can kind of build your ark and build your little, you know, your medium of wealth sort of stockpile here, in a sense, that when the storm does come, you can whip out those tubes of toothpaste. You can whip out that gram of gold. You can whip out that bottle of scotch and say, hey, and you know what? People will buy them, and they'll buy them at basically the price that you're going to ask for, which is going to be 4 or 5 times that amount.
Right.
And people will buy it because they need it like crazy. They're you know, critical commodities. Well, scotch isn't a critical commodity, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
These are things that people are going to want in hard times, because in hard times all these things disappear. They will. It'll be amazing to you how fast they fly off the shelf. So, you know, by buying them now, thinking ahead now, and catching that wave before it hits is the smart thing to do. So do these things now. But what you want to do, I mean, folks, go to Amazon, Go to Amazon, type in Ray Gano, Raygano. Type in Ray Gano, look at my books. I got a whole bunch of them. But the one that we're talking about tonight that Josh had me on here for is my Poor Man's Guide. And so take it. I mean, I'm charging, what, $5?
Yeah.
Buy it, man. Buy it and learn something. And then if there's anything that I can do for you, then contact me, ray.gano@prophazine.com, ray.gano@prophazine.com. And I'll be glad to help you any way that I can. I want to help. I want to share this knowledge because I want to help you get through the storm too. The storm is coming. All these people that have been thinking the end of the world is going to happen in September, they're going to be sorely disappointed. September 23rd is going to happen, and the meteors ain't going to hit, and the tidal waves aren't going to hit, and the whatever else is they're saying is going to hit ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
And so but these are things that you can do in everyday life, and anybody can do. And I'll be glad to help anybody. That's what I'm about. I want to help you guys, and I'm here. But what you got to do is you just got to write me the email and ask. So,
Absolutely.
How's that, Josh? I mean, any other questions you got for me, Josh? Or
no, I think you covered them all. But that's so cool, and I'm really glad that you're out there for the listeners of the show to be able to help. The only other question I had was for your links, and you just gave those. Were there any other links or any other places that people can?
Well, okay, for example, Thrive, if you guys are interested in Thrive, thrive.com/Gano.
Okay.
Or, in fact, if you guys are interested in anything, email me, and I'll get you the URLs. I've got Thrive that I deal with. I love Thrive. I can teach you guys how to be Amazon affiliates. I can teach you how to do what I'm doing. Get my books. My books explain a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to write a book on how to create a portable income, basically doing what I do. And because we have a portable income, we now are able to live in Panama. And it's paradise here. Now, the nice thing is I'm not spending as much money as I was in the States.
Yeah.
And the food, coffee here is the coffee, dude, is insane. But I'm loving my life. And I'm saving money too. I'm saving a bunch, but I'm saving money. Whereas in the States, I would be struggling.
Yeah.
So God is blessing us immensely, and so I'm willing to share this knowledge with you. So by all means, just contact me, ray.gano@prophazine.com, PROPHEZINE.com, and I'll be glad to help you any way that I can with my knowledge and everything. And whatever I can do, or business I'm in, I'll be glad to share it with you.
Fantastic. Well, Ray, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and talking about all this stuff. And it's all great information. I'm definitely going to be listening to this episode again and taking notes to make sure I remember everything. But it's been an absolute pleasure. It's always good talking to you, and it's always good having you on the show.
Well, thank you, Josh. I really, really appreciate it. It's been a blast here hanging out with you and digging what you're doing and everything. Josh is a good guy. I love him. He does good stuff and love what he's doing there at, what is it, the report?
Yeah, the Sharpening Report.
A Sharpening Report. Thank you. My brain just brain dead just then. I hate when that happens.
That's okay.
Just pop, gone. So.
Yeah, it happens to me a lot too. It's not a problem. Awesome. Well, we'll definitely have to have you back on.
Cool, dude.
All right, that again was Ray Gano, author of the book Survive the Coming Storm, A Poor Man's Guide to Preserving Your Wealth in an Economic Collapse, as well as many others. I highly, highly, highly suggest checking out Ray's materials, listening to what he has to offer. I can say from personal experience, after following the advice that Ray gave in our last interview, my family and I have benefited greatly from it. For example, we've hardly been sick at all, and even if one of us does get sick, it never lasts any more than a day or so now. Whereas something like the flu would normally take us down for a week or longer, now it's cleared up in even as little as a few hours. So I have no doubt that the information in this episode will be of great benefit as well. Now, if you would like to find more episodes of The Sharpening, you can do so at ministudyministry.com and my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Josh Peck Disclosure. Also, if you care to help support Mini Study Ministry, you can do so at ministudyministry.com. There actually is a special offer right now for any donation amount. You will get 5 of my books for free in PDF format. So check that out for more details at ministudyministry.com. Your donations go to the everyday running of Mini Study Ministry and help bring more episodes of The Sharpening, as well as more books and other materials. And I will say, as I do every episode, only donate if you feel God leading you to do so. If you're not sure or if you don't feel led, you can always pray for us. We can always use more prayer. We're not going to be the kind of people that's going to make promises on God's behalf that you're going to get a tenfold return on your money or anything like that. You know, we're not in the business of making promises for God. And we're also not 501c3, so your donations aren't tax deductible. But what we can promise is that your help, be it prayer or financial, it's greatly appreciated. It keeps us going, and it's the only reason that we're able to continue doing what we do. So all that being said, I want to thank you for joining us. This has been the Sharpening Report. I am your host, Josh Peck, and as always, take care and God bless.